was scared, and I needed results.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. If you are new here, my name is Brian Craig. We'll be on the air in a couple minutes. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Also the most pro-Trump radio show anywhere. This is our top of the hour break. We're here live weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, morning drive radio. If you're new here, subscribe, click the notification bell. Everyone in here, please click the notifications as well as like. Right? Like.
North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall.
Hey, Robert. Hey, Linda.
954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza, where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
This is Steve Kane.
Oh, hey, Kathy.
Attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners.
Main Street Moment, that's my wife.
His experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity.
This is so strange what I'm dealing with today. Where is that?
I grew up in Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my question.
I don't know why this is. I cannot get.
I was quite a while with him, and talking about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call Attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
I gotta hit one more commercial. I'm not quite ready.
1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Brian Craig here, conservative Doug.
I'm not quite ready.
Here to tell me about his experience at Friendly Tire.
I need one more minute.
Tires in the back of my Infiniti. So I called them up and I thought I always check prices first. Half the price of everybody else.
Half the price? Half the price at Friendly Tire. Wow.
This is so strange.
Not only that, his tires, which nobody, the tires I was looking at, had any mileage guarantee. His is a 60,000 mile warranty. So they're not only half the price, the price is good.
So you're a repeat customer over there at Friendly Tire. You bought new tires, right? So you bought new tires, because they also sell used tires, starting at just $30 for most sizes. But you bought new tires, and they were half the price at Friendly Tire than at the other tire shops around town. That is phenomenal, and came with a 60,000 mile warranty on the tires. That's
really
great. And of course, Friendly Tire, they never charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, or dispose of your old tires. The price that they give you are out the door and on the road. And
everybody should go there. I don't know how anybody could buy tires.
This is great. None of my audio sound bites are working today.
That's right. Listen,
I love it. I love it. This is just spectacular. Let me try something else.
954-977-9445.
Flippin' believable. It's always something. There's always some tech issue.
977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Or you can just stop right in. The address is listed at stevekane.com.
Oh, okay, now it's working.
5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate. And that's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway on the east side of 441
Okay, I got it.
Road 7. Well, conservative.
I got it fixed.
I'm glad you got such a great deal on your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
It's always something.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now,
All right, welcome guys. 7 minutes after 6 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right, this is also the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world. I promise you, you will never find a radio show as pro-Donald Trump as this one. That's why I say that with pride. I will never disagree with President Trump on anything. Not that he's done anything I would disagree with, but you will never hear me disagree with President Trump. If you are new here, we are live weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m., Monday through Friday. Overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week from midnight till 6 a.m. And that means our Friday show is always the most important show, because the Friday show, it's our overnight rebroadcast for the weekend. And just on our 4 radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show airs about 35 times over the weekend before we return live to you Monday morning at 6. And Joe Biden is the gift that just keeps on giving. Joe Rogan, a lot of you talk radio listeners, I know people know Joe Rogan, right? He's got, the #1 podcast, Joe Rogan. There's a lot of people that have these top podcasts, including myself, the Brian Craig Show podcast. But Joe Rogan is a big influencer, and he very well may be the #1. I don't know who is #1. A lot of people claim #1. But Joe Rogan is very influential. In fact, I would say when it comes to political podcast, not that he's just political, he does a lot of celebrity interviews and things, but he gets political too. I would say Joe Rogan is, out of people that do radio talk shows and podcast, he very well may be the most influential in America when it comes to political issues, because I know he's a bit of a libertarian type, or maybe more than a libertarian. He's a libertarian type guy, but he doesn't just do a political show. He has a lot of celebrities on, very interesting celebrity interviews, and he reaches people that don't normally follow politics, and he also reaches people that are from both political preaching to the choir. It doesn't mean they're not influential, Rush and Hannity and these people and Tucker Carlson, but I think Joe Rogan is probably more influential today than Rush Limbaugh. I mean, he may be as influential as Rush Limbaugh was back in the 90s, when the Clintons first came to the White House. And that says a lot. And Joe Rogan has repeatedly been critical of Joe Biden. And Joe Biden has really been, his decline is just tragic and very sad. But yesterday, Joe Rogan said something about Joe Biden, and this is very damaging to Joe Biden, because Joe Rogan has a younger audience, a millennial audience. He's reaching people on the left big time, reaching people that are in that moderate, undecided group because they listen to him for whatever reason. And that influences people. And because he's not identified as a liberal or a conservative, a lot of people will tune someone out no matter what they say, right? Because, that's Fox News, CNN. You understand what I mean? He doesn't get dismissed over a political connection like certain people do or media outlets do. So anyway, let me play this clip. This is Joe Rogan on his show yesterday talking about Biden's mental decline.
I believe there's also a large group of people that are very uncomfortable with a man who seems to be mentally compromised winning the election, and doing so by hiding. The guy's never, he was just at another thing the other day and he forgot where he was.
Yeah, he did, and I've got that clip, which I may play in just a little bit. When Joe Biden has a slip like he's had, are you a junkie? Black people aren't diverse, they all think alike, these things. This is my wife, but it's really my sister. I don't know where I'm at. And conservatives are talking about it, or it's on Fox News. The people that hate Biden and love Trump, okay. Joe Rogan has repeatedly pointed out the mental decline of Vice President Biden. That's going to cost Biden big time on election day, because people will say, oh, that's interesting, Joe Rogan, let me go look. And then they go online and they look and they see what's happened, and it scares the hell out of people. People would there are very few people, except hardcore partisan hacks, that are due for payoffs if Biden gets elected, whether it's money or power or influence. Very few rational people would go out and vote for a man to be president of the United States in the mental state that Joe Biden is in, while we are in a crisis in this country. We've got a health crisis going on with the corona, and there's an economic crisis too, because so much of the economy is shut down. There's also a law and order crisis. You see this violence that's going on. It's continuing in Portland. And, these violent protesters, Antifa and the BLMers and all these groups that are around, those aren't Biden voters. Those aren't Biden. Most of those people will not even vote. They're just lunatics that are out there looking to cause trouble and be violent for some reason, I guess. They need to get back. They need to open up if they would open up the schools, it would help a lot, because these are a lot of people that would be in college or maybe even high school or something and would be a little busier than they are. They got a lot of time on their hands, and that's what a lot of this is about. But Joe Rogan's really reaching people with that, and it's important. Don't discount Joe Rogan. A lot of people will discount Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's influence, he just signed one of the biggest deals ever in the history of this business. Okay? And the reason he did is because he is so influential with people. And Biden's mental decline, which is the big elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about it's been very frustrating for me in the cable news this week as they're talking about the debates. Will Biden debate? Will he not debate? They say he shouldn't debate. The reality is the Democrats do not want him to debate because of his severe mental decline. And no one even on Fox is talking about this, really, because they want an interview with Biden or something. They think they're going to get some one-on-one over there with him. So they don't want to talk about it. And I'll tell you, Sarah Huckabee, I was talking about this yesterday, Sarah Huckabee, she was on with Harris Faulkner a couple days ago, and she says, well, they don't want him to debate because he's part of the problem after 50 years in Washington. They don't want him to debate because he doesn't even know who the president he's running against is half the time. Sometimes he doesn't know what office he's running for. And they're afraid to have him up there in that type of mental state. And when I heard Sarah Huckabee Sanders, poor Mr. Sanders, everyone keeps calling her Sarah Huckabee, when I see Sarah Huckabee Sanders say that, it makes me want to vomit. It really does, because why they're talking about Trump's cognitive abilities constantly, and he is sharp as a tack. He has no cognitive problems. He has no cognitive issues. Joe Biden, everybody sees it, and you see it all the time, and no one wants to talk about it. These people are disgusting. They're disgusting. Oh man. But no, Joe Biden, and this thing that Rogan was talking about. He said he forgot where he was the other day. This is it. Listen.
Welcome to Kingswood Community Center. Actually, that's the one down I used to work.
Oh.
It's a joke. You didn't know where we were anyway.
Oh my goodness. That man's running for president of the United States. I remember when Ronald Reagan was running, I was just a kid. He was 69, he was 70 when he was sworn in, and they were talking about him being too old to be president and mental decline. Here you got a guy who's 10 years older and gone. I mean, he's just checked out. On yesterday's show, I was talking about whether or not the Democrats really want to win. Are they running to win? I don't think the Democrats are running. I think the Democrats have accepted the fact that they are going to lose. Now, I may be incorrect about this, but did Sean Hannity talk about the FISA abuses with Biden last night? I think he did. The one topic with Biden isn't his FISA abuses. It's not what he was a part of. It's not that he's part of the problem. It's not going back and talking about how he's in league with segregationists. These are all true. The issue with Biden is his mental fitness. These crazy things that he says are because he is out to lunch. I mean, asking a black interviewer, are you a junkie, man? This thing he said yesterday about black people.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community.
Yeah, so black people you all think alike with some notable exceptions. Who are those notable exceptions? Clarence Thomas? Who is he talking about? What's happening here is because he's so far gone mentally, his mental decline is so severe, Joe Biden, that he can't police what he says. It's like someone who's drunk. It's like when people are drunk, they say crazy things, right? They say what's on their mind when they're drunk. When people are sober, They police what they say a little bit. Joe Biden, he's like a drunk person. He can't police what he says. He doesn't realize what he's saying is wrong. Oh my goodness. All right, listen, let's take our first break of the day. It's Friday, people. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show, August 7th, by the way, 2020. I still can't believe it's 2020. I cannot get used to the idea that it is 2020. Let's take that first break of the day. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all this. And on Fridays, we kind of keep it loose, open phone-ish, so long as it's relevant. And to the listener that sent me someone sent me a Trump clock. Got a Trump clock yesterday in the mail here at the radio station from a listener. I have that Trump clock up on display in my living room. It came with a nice stand. I've got a stand right next to my television, right in the front of the living room, that Trump clock. So whoever sent that to me, there was no note telling me who sent it. Thank you so much for the Trump clock. I appreciate that. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Let's take that break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
It's hurricane season again. This year, forecasters predict as many as 10 hurricanes. Are you prepared if a hurricane strikes? Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware is your hurricane preparation location. You don't want to go through hurricane season without a generator. Ace carry generators for all size homes at prices to fit every budget. Once a hurricane is on television, generators are the first thing to sell out. But you will have the security of knowing you will not be without electricity if a hurricane hits. With your generator from Ace, you will have the security for every hurricane season to come. Ace also have an incredible selection of chainsaws to cut away the falling debris. Ace Hardware Deerfield is just south of Hillsboro on the west side of US 1. Beach Ace Hardware is located at 232 Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, your first stop for hurricane prep. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, folks.
Attention seniors over the age of 65. In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you have recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review of your existing health insurance plan and to receive a free no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. I Will Advisors are carrier neutral, which means they don't just represent one insurance carrier, they represent all major national carriers and will guide you through the confusing process to find the right plan for your particular needs. Free of charge. Call Debbie and her team right now.
I don't know what that is.
753
Was that it? Was it the clock?
954-753-8080.
Could have been. It could have been the clock. It didn't
Listen
say.
to the Steve
People
Kane
send
Show
stuff all the
on
time.
Radio. Just search for W.
Alrighty, 20 minutes after the hour. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. By the way, Friendly Tire in Margate, they are open on Saturdays. They're open today too, Friday. You know, all those great low prices on new tires and used tires as well. Great prices. Friendly Tire open on Saturdays. And, you know, when I got my Ford Explorer back from Champaign Automotive Repair a couple weeks ago, I took it over to Friendly Tire and got new tires on my Explorer. And the lowest price that I could find around town for the tires I got on the Explorer were $175 a tire. $175 a tire. Mike's price at Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire, and that is out the door and on the road. No added fees, no charging you to balance or mount the tire or dispose of the old tire. All the prices at Friendly Tire are out the door and on the road. So listen, give Friendly Mike a call. He will give you a quote right over the phone. His number, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. They're in Margate. We have listeners that drive over an hour each way because the prices are so low at Friendly Tire. Thousands of used tires in stock starting at just $30 a tire for most sizes as well. FriendlyTire.net is the website. And again, Friendly Tire is open on Saturdays. Don't forget. All right, so, you know, this cancel culture phase we're in, some of these things just get stupid. I saw this story a couple days ago and didn't get to it, but I got to mention this because it's the absurdity of it. And this one is someone I've never even heard of before. Maddie Ziegler. I've never heard of Maddie Ziegler, but this apparently she's a celebrity. This is what happens when you get older. You don't know who the celebrities are anymore. I tell you, when I was in high school, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. When I was in high school, you know, I thought I was so cool. I was so hip. I knew who everybody was. That was important, you know. And I told myself back then, did any of you ever say this when you were in high school? When I'm old, I'm going to know who all the hottest bands are. I'm going to be up to date on the hippest music and the hottest new songs. I'm going to know who all the actors are. I don't know who any of these people are now. I was watching a duet with a singer that I'm a fan of a couple days ago online, and they were doing a duet with someone who was big. Oh, Alanis Morissette. I was watching Alanis Morissette doing a duet, and apparently she was doing a duet with someone who's one of the biggest singers of the day. I don't even know who she is. Anyway, this cancel culture is getting so insanely out of control. This is at the Daily Wire, the unlikable Ben Shapiro's online publication. I don't like Ben Shapiro, but I like his news website, dailywire.com. After weeks of apparent pressures from fans to apologize, 17-year-old actress and professional dancer Maddie Ziegler posted a lengthy statement to social media Tuesday apologizing for her past racially insensitive videos. Okay. Now, this is a common thing with celebrities. Even Biden yesterday apologized for saying, no, black people don't all think alike. Celebrities are often apologizing for racially insensitive things they've done in the past. But with Maddie Ziegler, it's a little extreme and bizarre. Listen to this. She's 17 years old. She posted a lengthy statement to social media Tuesday apologizing for her past racially insensitive videos that were made when she was 9 years old. So she's apologizing for things that she did when she was 9. I tell you, these liberals, they just don't, there's just no, they just don't give up. 9 years old? I thought it was funny to mock people with accents, her post said. I'm honestly ashamed. I'm truly sorry for my actions. The decisions I made then are absolutely not decisions I would make today. Well, I would hope so. She was 9. What I thought was silly humor when I was younger, I know was actually ignorant and racially insensitive, added Ziegler. We have all made mistakes in our lives, and as we grow up, we educate ourselves to learn and to be better people. According to Elite Daily, the videos in question show Ziegler allegedly making racist jokes about Asians, including mocking their accents and facial features, when she was 9 years old. She was on Dance Moms, apparently. There are a few videos some of you have seen from when I was about 9, where I thought it was funny to mock people with accents. I'm ashamed. I'm sorry. Growing up in a public eye has its challenges. It comes with a responsibility to set a good example, which I failed to do in these videos at age 9. I hope you will forgive me, and also hope you realize I have, in fact, grown up. I would never act this way now. I know some of you are hurt and may not accept my apology, Ziegler added, but I want to ask all of you to please be kind to each other on socials, meaning social media. You know, that's the Twitter mob. There's no need to attack each other or try to defend me. I don't want anyone to feel bullied, and I think we can all learn from my mistakes. I'm much more educated now than I was before. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I offended the black community. I would never treat you like that. Now, that's somebody else. Wait a minute. Her younger sister, Mackenzie, who was 16, took to social media to apologize for her past behavior. Oh, my goodness. Okay, this is her 16-year-old sister. I'm much more educated now than I was before. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I offended the black community. I would never treat you like that now, Mackenzie offered. And if you guys don't forgive me, I completely understand. She was also on Dance Moms. What did she do? What I find with these people that are offended all the time and force celebrities and other people into apologies, like this one, she was doing some funny Asian accent, and her teenage younger sister made some comments about black people that they didn't share with us. Typically, the people that are offended are not from the groups in question. They're usually not Asian or black. It's usually white liberals sitting around on the Twitter. They don't leave their house, and they start bullying people. I talk a lot about the poison on our society that is cable news. But social media is worse. You know, there's all this talk all the time, like this story this week about the Trump campaign having a tweet and a Facebook post removed about it had something to do with COVID and kids. You know, and these things are, you know, the biggest problems on social media is this mob mentality that does things to people like happened to these celebrities I've never heard of from Dance Moms before. They pile on, they bully people, they start calling people things that they're not, racist, for example. You know, even if she, you know, she did this at 9, doing the Asian accent, even if she did it today, at the age of 17, she's all grown up now, that doesn't mean that she's a racist. It means she's not a funny person, I don't know. Saturday Night Live, who did the Chinese, was it John Belushi that did that Chinese, have you guys ever seen Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's? You know, there are racial stereotypes that are out there, but some kid doing a accent of someone who's Asian or saying doesn't mean that they hate Asians. It doesn't mean anything. It means they're trying to be funny, and they saw something somewhere like that, and they're mocking it, and this Twitter mob grabs on and tries to destroy the lives of people. And the Twitter mob are a bunch of losers who never leave their house. You know, I hate social media. I have to use social media. You can't function in today's society. That's how I get most of my news, is from social media. But what goes on there is 9 years old. Can you imagine? All right, listen, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour, then I'll get back into talking about people I've heard of before. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Indeed it is. We'll take a break and be back. Don't go anywhere.
Kane, I'm sitting here with my good friend and my attorney, Barry Siegel of the Siegel Law Group. Barry, you offer a service called elder law, and since I'm getting up there in years, I'd like to find out exactly what that is and when and if I need it.
Sure, Steve. Elder law, think of it as asset protection. Now, as we age and get into our retirement years, the number one concern or threat to our assets is the cost of long-term care. Care either at home, in an assisted living facility, or in a nursing home can be very, very expensive. And it can eat away at your assets. It can even deplete your assets to nothing. Imagine if you lose all your assets, you have to go into a facility and your spouse at home has nothing left. Or you may end up not having any assets left to leave to your loved ones. So with elder law, we are able to look at different government benefits that may be available to you or your spouse, such as Medicaid or veteran benefits. And even if you don't think that you're eligible for these benefits, you'd be surprised. That's what elder law attorneys do, is we help people who may not be eligible at this point become eligible so that they can protect their assets for themselves, their spouse, and their loved ones.
Well, it sounds like a really great idea. I suggest you call my attorney, Barry Siegel, and he will be glad to set up an appointment and explain everything to you in even more detail. His number, toll free, 1-855-FLA-3782. Mention that you heard it on the Steve Kane Show.
Does your life insurance policy only pay someone if you die? The new life insurance policies allow you to access your benefits even while you are still alive. Due to changes in the insurance industry, all life insurance carriers in 2020 have adjusted their premiums to your advantage. Life insurance rates have been lowered due to the updated mortality tables. People are living longer in America, and that means life insurance premiums are lower. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 to learn more and for a free review of your existing life insurance policy. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
Oh my gosh, I just was reading Breitbart here. By the way, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is The Steve Kane Show. I was just reading Breitbart during the break, just to follow up on that last topic. Actress Zoe Saldana You guys know her, right? Yeah, she's been around for a while. Actress Zoe Saldana has tearfully apologized for playing the role of Nina Simone. I love Nina. I haven't listened to Nina Simone in many years, but I love Nina Simone. Do you guys love the music of Nina Simone? Nina Simone is awesome. But anyway, she has tearfully apologized for playing the role of Nina Simone in the 2016 movie Nina, citing her lack of African-American heritage and saying the late iconic singer and civil rights activist deserved better. Saldana, who is of Dominican, Puerto Rican, Haitian, and Lebanese ancestry, said in an interview on Instagram Live that she regretted taking the role, in which she wore a prosthetic nose and skin-darkening makeup to more closely resemble Nina Simone. It only gets a 2% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the movie, so it must have really stunk. You know, she was in Avatar, and isn't she Uhura in those Star Trek reboots? I think she is. And she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, oh my goodness. Now actors, even actors of color now are getting hooked up and in trouble with this blackface thing. Oh my goodness. It's really tough these days, isn't it? Did you guys see the president's speech at the Whirlpool factory? Did you guys see that? This was very strange. This was very strange. President Trump said something in that speech which was so odd. It's being called cryptic, and it certainly is cryptic. Let me play it for you. This is the president, just one clip from his speech. He's talking about what he's done with prescription drug prices, because, you know, prescription drug prices, you know how that works. In America, we pay a higher price for our prescription drugs than other countries do. And they're very high, and in some cases unaffordable. And people go to Canada and they're cheap. Or other countries and they're cheap. That's what started that online Canadian pharmacy thing that was big a few years ago. And Trump is doing something about that. And he's talking about the pharmaceutical companies here. And let me play this for you. This is Trump yesterday.
They got so wealthy. They are so wealthy. Nobody has any idea who the hell they are, what they do. They make more money than the drug companies. You know, in all fairness, at least the drug companies have to produce a product. And it has to be a good product. But the middlemen, well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middlemen and it reduces costs, and the money goes back to the people purchasing the drugs. So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while.
Oh.
A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing. But I figure we have one chance to do it, and no other president's going to do what I do. No other president would do a favored nations, a rebate, a buy from other nations at much less cost. Nobody. And there are a lot of unhappy people, and they're very rich people, and they're very unhappy.
Wow. Maybe the last time you see me for a while. What was President Trump talking about there? Well, I've got some theories on that, which I'll talk about as the show goes on. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, hey, Richie.
Yeah, I'm going to say some things here. Don't offend anybody.
Doesn't every one of your calls begin with you saying you don't want to offend anyone, and then you go on and offend people?
Well, because it's obviously this is what's being taught to little white kids. It's being taught to black children. In other words, not only are black children being taught that they're victims from the time they're born, now it's the fault of the white kid that's born white. That is his fault.
Yes.
White, because Oprah Winfrey and Michelle Obama and people and Barack, okay, people like this.
Well, we're talking about this thing with Oprah a couple days ago, where she was talking about this white caste system, and Oprah Winfrey is one of the most successful women in America. She's certainly one of the most successful black women in American history. And when you have someone like Oprah Winfrey, who still thinks that you and I, Richie, you're a bus driver, I'm just a guy here, that we have more privilege than her, how are we going to reach out to the rest of the liberal African American community when Oprah Winfrey thinks she's a victim of racism and a white caste system.
Yeah, the Democratic Party has won. I don't know if you get it or not. They have separated every little group, lesbians, gay, everything. Everything is separated.
What do you think Trump was talking about when he said this may be the last time you see me for a while?
In jest. That was just in jest. Because you know that he stuck his neck out to get these drugs. He had fentanyl.
See, this is, what he's talking about there is something that actually I've been talking about for a while. Everything that's going on in this country against Trump, what he has done, this thing with the pharmaceutical prices is just one example. There are many others, the trade deals. What he has done is turned the establishment of both parties and of the big corporations upside down. And they've been running this country. This country has been a big corporation since the end of the Second World War, at least. And he's turned all these things upside down, and all the hate against him is because of that. I'll tell you this. Alyssa Milano came out and said, I read Biden's plan for women, and it's wonderful. President Trump has stopped so much sex trafficking, child trafficking, and he has shut down prostitution in this country, in this world, like no one else. He shut down Backpage in the early days of his presidency. Backpage is how the prostitution business worldwide was being advertised. This stopping of the children with the adults at the border and everything has stopped child trafficking and a lot of sex trafficking. He has turned the world upside down, and that's what he's talking about on every single, whether it's the pharmaceutical prices, the trade deals. What he has done is he's the greatest president ever. We've never had a president that has brought so much positive change to this country. I'm sorry to tell you, it's true. It's at least not in the modern times.
Like I said, last thing on this topic, I don't apologize for being white. It's not my fault. I'm so sorry.
All right, back on remote to the white Oprah thing. I guess you can only talk about racial things today, Richie.
Back to what you just said now.
How much money? That was cryptic, but I think it was also crystal clear what he was talking about.
Because obviously he's offended everybody because he's breaking up their golden egg. They've all made money on the backs of the working people of this country. We all start to realize that. As for Democrats that call up, and I hope Al from Coral Springs, I hope the other Al calls up from England, wherever the hell he lives. How can you vote? And I don't care if you hate Trump. How can you vote for a man who's losing his mind? Literally, we don't make fun of.
Well, that's Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's telling his millions and millions of moderate voters that listen to his program that you can't vote for Biden is what he's saying. He's gone. Yeah.
Yesterday was another example of that garbage. This guy stutters. And it's not just stuttering. He can't make it. He's reading a teleprompter and basically he's got ears that tell him what to say.
Yeah, and he's still screwing up.
And he's screwing up, and when he gets it, when somebody gives him a question he doesn't like, he loses his temper. He's totally. Obviously, you look at the Biden of 2012 and before, it was a lot different than what's happening now. Anybody that could deny this, I'm not a doctor, but I can see what I can.
Well, I'll tell you this, okay? If the Democrats were smart, they would not nominate Biden. I know who if they were smart, there's someone they would nominate. Who do you think they should nominate if the Democrats wanted to have a chance? I know who.
You gotta tell me. Oprah, not Oprah, Michelle Obama.
You're always with Michelle. You got to think for Michelle Obama.
I don't ever think. I think that she's popular.
No, if the Democrats were smart, if they really were running, if they really wanted to win this election, they wouldn't nominate Biden. They would go to the convention, and it'd be easy to do this since Biden's not going to be there. It's easy to, to make it easier to manipulate the convention. They would nominate Bernie Sanders. And if they nominated Bernie Sanders as the Democrat nominee, they would get energy in their party. people, they would get a lot of these young millennials and Generation Zs and everything. They would get all energized and excited. They would have I'm not saying that Bernie Sanders would beat President Trump, but at least they would not go out like really, they wouldn't be as defeated over these next 90-some days, or 100 days, or however long it is, as they're going to be now. They would have a chance with Bernie Sanders. It would energize the party and the Democrat Party and the movement and the campaign in this election like they haven't seen. I'm not saying that, but if they nominated Bernie Sanders, things would explode for them.
Well, the question is going to come up. I mean, listen, you can't use the excuse, I'm going by the advice of doctors because I'm vulnerable. I go out more in my house here. He goes out of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm out all the time. I'm going. Don't tell Steve, but I'm meeting some friends for lunch tomorrow at one of the Walt Disney World resorts. So I'm having lunch tomorrow. I'm going back to Disney World tomorrow, just for lunch with some friends, with my daughter.
That's some right for that. Hey, listen, I'll tell you the truth. This vice president that's running there, Mr. Vice President, not only is he corrupt, and you got to, they're trying to they're ignoring everything. They didn't even report what he said.
Yeah. All right, Richie, appreciate the call. Thanks so much for calling in. You know, this thing with Trump yesterday, though, you may not, that cryptic little message. I've been saying this for a long time. The trade deals between the United States and all these other countries are not out of whack and unfair by accident. Our politicians have been selling this country out for 50, 60 years, okay? They're that way on purpose. And these international corporations and these sellouts in Congress, they have a multi-generational business plan based on all of these out-of-whack trade deals, these out-of-whack pharmaceutical deals, and everything else that's going on. And Trump has turned that world upside down and destroyed their entire business plan that they thought would be there for the next 150 years. And the mainstream media are owned by these big mega corporations who were pissed off at President Trump for overturning their entire world. And that's why the mainstream media are after him so much like they are. All right, let's take our first break of the first hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management. He's my anti-aging doctor. That's right, I have an anti-aging doctor now. I was starting to slow down a bit. I met with Dr. Matez, and he found that my testosterone level was low. We men begin losing our testosterone starting at age 30, and it goes down every year after that. Dr. Matez told me I was approaching the beginning of andropause. That's the male equivalent of menopause. I began bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. They're tiny little pellets inserted under my skin. And now my testosterone levels are being restored to where they were when I was 25 years old. Thanks to Dr. Matez, I have more energy, I feel better, I look better, my love life, it's better, and my wife, she's thanking Dr. Matez too. Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy isn't just for men, it works wonders for women by reversing the symptoms of menopause, like the night sweats and the mood swings. Men and women, you don't have to live with the negative effects of aging, like loss of energy, loss of sexual desire, weight gain, or menopause. Call Dr. Matez and meet with him about bioidentical hormone pellet therapy. It works for me, and it'll work for you too. He's located in Boca, and his website is hormonetherapybocaraton.com. Or give him a call, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. And tell him Brian Craig sent you. It's hurricane season again. This year, forecasters predict as many as 10 hurricanes. Are you prepared if a hurricane strikes? Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware is your hurricane preparation location. You don't want to go through hurricane season without a generator. Ace carry generators for all size homes at prices to fit every budget. Once a hurricane is on television, generators are the first thing to sell out, but you will have the security security of knowing you will not be without electricity if a hurricane hits. With your generator from Ace, you will have the security for every hurricane season to come. Ace also have an incredible selection of chainsaws to cut away the falling debris. Ace Hardware Deerfield is just south of Hillsboro on the west side of US 1. Beach Ace Hardware is located at 232 Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, your first stop for hurricane prep. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Oh man, did you see this power outage in New York? Would you? Oh my God, these poor people in New York must be living in terror. First off, people don't have guns for home protection like we have in Florida. Power goes out. You've got a mob running the city right now anyway. The homicides are up, robberies are up. To escape from New York-like levels, and then the power goes out. Oh my goodness! Come back to New York. Yeah, high taxes, high crime. Oh my goodness, that's got to be scary as hell. Scary as hell. I don't like it when we don't have power here in South Florida after hurricanes sometimes. You know, well, you know, that's. Can you imagine what it's like right now in New York? People would be terrified. They're probably sleeping in their bathtubs and being very quiet, so when people come by, they don't know that anyone's home. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. You know, one thing, we'll talk about this later in the show, too, a little bit, is this New York Attorney General going after the NRA. You know, I got a lot of mixed feelings about the NRA. I think Wayne LaPierre is a jerk. We had him on the show, and I've never had an experience like we had with this guest. He wanted to be called President LaPierre on the show. Can you believe this? Like he's president of the United States or something. And we put a couple of liberal callers through to talk to Wayne LaPierre. And the NRA, they called me, said, "Well, you'll never have President LaPierre on the show again. We got you on a list." I guess that we were early cancel culture victims there because we put liberals on with President LaPierre. And I have no doubt that these vacations and everything that they took are true, and you know, a little piggy bank thing going on there. But that's not what this is about, and that's really a distraction. I am not a member of the NRA. I know a lot of you are. I know most people on the radio like to tell you all the time that they're lifetime members of the NRA. I'm not. I'm not a big joiner. I haven't joined many groups in my time. I've joined, Boy Scouts, Star Trek: The Official Fan Club, and I even had a certificate that said I was a member of the Mickey Mouse Club when I was a kid in the 70s. But I'm not a big joiner of anything. But I've never really cared for the NRA because of, you know, some of their leadership, Wayne LaPierre, and I do believe that a lot of what they're saying about the leaders is probably true. Truth probably somewhere in the middle, but there's a bigger picture here. What they're trying to do is put the NRA out of business because the NRA is a very powerful lobby. Wayne LaPierre may be a jerk, and they may even have some people using it as a piggy bank. And I know that's disgusting because most people that are NRA members are hardworking Americans, and I don't know how much the memberships cost or if you pay it monthly or annually, I don't know. But, you know, people spend their hard-earned money to go to the NRA. But the NRA does so much incredible work that you cannot imagine. Maybe you can. They are one of the most important and powerful lobby groups we have that preserve our Second Amendment. If the NRA was shut down, if they were shut down over this, our Second Amendment would be in such jeopardy you have no idea, because we have so many very pro-Second. How can you be against any of the amendments? Those are the amendments. But we have so many Republicans that fight hard anytime one of these incidents come up to preserve the right of law-abiding citizens to own guns, and the NRA backs these congressional candidates, donates money to their campaigns, helps them win, right? And the NRA, if it was not for the NRA's lobbying efforts, we would not be able to own guns like we do right now in this country. Our rights of gun ownership every time one of these tragic school shootings happened would be eroded a lot more, to the point where guns would only be owned by criminals. So, you know, getting sidetracked into what corruption may be have taken place with NRA leadership and this incredibly disgusting retirement deal that Wayne LaPierre worked out. To me, the Second Amendment is more important than that. And I think most people that are NRA members don't care. You know, I was talking to my wife the other day on our podcast about the book with Mary Trump, and the left think, oh, she's family. They'll flip. If Barron Trump or Melania Trump wrote a book and published it trashing the president, I would still vote for him. I wouldn't give a damn. And you know what? I think most people on the Trump... I'm not saying that they would, but if Barron Trump or Melania had a tell-all book attacking President Trump, those of us on the Trump train, we'd still vote for him. Right? Nothing would stop us from voting for President Trump. No book, no matter who wrote it. You know? And I think most people expect people like Wayne LaPierre to use NRA money to enrich themselves, but the purpose of the NRA and the hard work and the good work that they do, keeping pro-Second Amendment supporters in Congress and in our governor's mansions, and even they help presidents too. Remember George W. Bush? They said they were going to have a desk right next to the Oval Office. Remember that? Very controversial. You're damn right. That's what we want. They're very important. And if they were successful in shutting down the NRA, I was talking to Steve about this yesterday off the air, you know, well, they still have the list of all the members. They have been building up not just a list of due-paying members for the last 50 plus years, but they have built so many relationships in the Republican Party, it would do a lot of damage. It would do a lot of damage to the Republican Party and to the Second Amendment if this hack New York Attorney General is successful in destroying them. Now, President Trump said they should move to I don't know why the hell they're based out of New York. They should be in Texas or Florida, a big gun state. I remember when I first moved to Florida, I don't see this anymore. You know, when I first moved to Florida, it was the early 80s. People have always been moving to Florida from the north. But I haven't seen this in a long time, but when I first moved to Florida, it was very common to see guys driving around in pickup trucks with gun racks in the back windows, with guns in them, not empty gun racks. They had to, what good's the gun rack if you don't have a gun to put in it? 12 gauges, 30-30s, driving around town. Don't see that too much anymore, but this is a very pro-gun state, pro-Second Amendment state, Florida. And, you know, the NRA needs you more than any. Yeah, I am not I'm not a member of the NRA, but right now they need our support more than ever. You know, because this attack in New York is going to go on and on and on and on. And President Trump is right. They need to pick up their troubles and get out of New York, and also clean out some of that leadership they got there and bring in some new people. But don't let these little piggy banks stealing things to enrich themselves and take vacations and everything like Wayne LaPierre and others have done tarnish the NRA, because I don't think we would have. We would not have had George Bush as president if it wasn't for the NRA. And, you know, same may be true with President Trump. See, the NRA, they do more than just lobby and back candidates. They're also responsible for getting a narrative out there in the country. You know, and anytime there's a tragedy, the left, who, remember Rahm Emanuel, never let a good crisis go to waste, anytime there's a tragedy, they like to run out there, the left, and try to use that to erode our rights. And then the NRA is on the news defending the Second Amendment. And I give you an example. There was a leftist organization that's destroyed their reputations and are ineffective today. And liberals have been hurt by it. Now, the National Organization for Women. The National Organization for Women was a very vocal, powerful group. Not so much a lobby group. I'm sure they did that. But they were important for those liberal female causes on television in the news cycles to get a narrative out there. And they destroyed their credibility during the sex scandals of Bill Clinton. They were defending Bill Clinton and his sex assaults and sexual harassments and all this. And the national organization is no more. And that's a good thing from our perspective, because they were a radical group. But from the liberal feminist perspective, losing the National Organization for Women has been a devastating blow that they've never recovered from. They've had, there's still women's organizations and women who go on TV and talk about these things, but the National Organization for Women is just a little tiny thing now. It used to be this massive thing. And that's how the NRA is. There's that other guns group. What's the other gun group? A lot of people like. I've forgotten the name of it. Is it Larry Pratt's with them? Gun Owners of America. They're good people and they do good stuff, but they don't have the network that the NRA has. And the NRA has made its way into the Republican Party through relationships all these decades that would be lost forever. And even though they got a mailing list of all the members and everything, it's not enough. So this is an attack on our Second Amendment, and this is a long game they're playing. This going after the NRA is a long game, like they're trying to rewrite the history of the Democrat Party by taking down the monuments. We've been talking about that a lot lately. They don't expect to get the NRA out of this election cycle. They're talking about 4 years from now. See, I'm of the opinion the Democrats have written off this election. Just completely written it off. They're planning for 4 years from now when they're going to run someone like Governor Cuomo or something. And they're setting things in place for then. Not now. After Trump's second term, they got a chance. If they don't win that one, they got a super big chance of winning the one after that. So that's what's going on here. And wounding the NRA or putting them out of business in their current form would go a long way to the Democrats winning big time nationally after Trump's second term. The Democrats, you may not think this, they're more patient than you realize. And they do run a lot of long games on their schemes. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. 1 hour down, 2 to go. We'll be back right after this.
0.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously won $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up on the lift, pulled the wheels, and says, you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow. Well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack. They're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel.
I'm so ticked off at Jerry Falwell Jr. I'd bring it up now.
Avoid
I'm so ticked off at him.
Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South
Have you
Florida.
seen this story with him? I saw it this morning before the show, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm going to bring it up when we get back.
3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE. That's 1-888-GO.
All right, welcome back. 2 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Hey, by the way, any lab test now of Coral Springs, any lab test now of Boca, they are doing the coronavirus testing. They have that on-the-spot test. You get your results in 15 minutes. They also have the antibody test. A lot of people that are traveling, sometimes internationally, need testing. They have everything you need if you're traveling as well. They're open on Saturdays at both locations. Any lab test now of Coral Springs on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood by the Coral Springs Mall. Their number 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road, north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441. Their number 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Both locations, any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs, open on Saturdays. They're open today too, but they're also open on Saturday. And you get that coronavirus testing in 15 minutes. That's great. And I know a lot of you have been going in there because of work. And if you're an employer, and I know sometimes employers, you have issues and you have send them over to any lab test now of Coral Springs or Boca. They'll take very good care of you. They have special prices for Steve Kane listeners. And get your employees tested when you have to, because I know this is a thing. But you can also test yourself. I know people in my family who have had issues at work because they weren't feeling good one day, right? Or they had a stuffy nose or something. Oh yeah, COVID, you got to get out of here. And they go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs or Boca, and they get tested. They go back to work. You can go on the way to work, on the way from work. You can go on your lunch hour, that 15 minutes, and you can take those results back to work and say, look, I'm corona free. So you can continue to work. Both locations, again, open on Saturdays, and all the information is at SteveKaneShow.com. There's lots of any lab test nows, but these are the only 2 locations advertising on the Steve Kane Show. Any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio, okay? I saw this story this morning, and it really, I'm so pissed off at Jerry Falwell Jr. because he did something so stupid, and he's so important to us. And I wasn't going to bring this up because I wanted to wait until we got some more information on it, and then now we do in the Blaze. Jerry Falwell Jr. is so important to the Make America Great movement, the MAGA movement. Evangelical Christians are always looking for an excuse not to vote for a Republican. And there have been many Republicans who have lost elections because evangelical Christians won't vote for them because there's one or two boxes they can't check off. Mitt Romney, we didn't know what a jerk Mitt Romney was back in 2012, but millions of evangelicals would not vote for Mitt Romney because he was Mormon. So they'd rather have Obama become president. Giuliani ran in the primary in 2008 and was destroyed because he was light on gay rights, and evangelicals wouldn't vote for him. He lost, America's mayor. And the only concern I had in 2016 was the evangelical vote, because the evangelical vote screws us over all the time. And then Jerry Falwell Jr. came out and endorsed President Trump, and evangelicals took that as an okay and voted for Trump and didn't go against him like they often do. And there's this story today about Jerry Falwell Jr. that just pissed me off. It just really pissed me off. A Republican congressman with links to Liberty University declared Thursday that Jerry Falwell Jr. should resign his post as president of the institution, citing his ongoing behavior that the lawmaker called appalling. Representative Mark Walker, Republican from North Carolina, a former pastor himself, tweeted this: Jerry Falwell Jr.'s ongoing behavior is appalling. As a music faculty advisory board member and former instructor at Liberty U, I'm convinced Falwell should step down. None of us are perfect, but students, faculty, alumni deserve better. Congressman Walker did not get into specifics regarding what behavior he was referring to, but something happened with Jerry Falwell Jr. this week. And this is just stupid. Falwell raised eyebrows earlier this week with a quickly deleted Instagram post showing him with his arm around a woman who was not his wife. Both were posing with their pants zippers undone. And Falwell was holding a dark-colored drink. In the caption accompanying the photo, Falwell wrote, "More vacation shots, lots of good friends visit us on the yacht." Oh, must be nice. Pastor of the people. Lots of good friends visited us on the yacht. I promise that's just black water, Mike. Glass. It was a prop. And here's the photograph. He's got his arm. He's standing next to a woman who's not his wife. His pants are unzipped. You can see his belly and his underwear. The girl that he has his arm around, she's got her shirt top pulled up. Her pants are hanging low. Her pants are unzipped as well. Okay, that's the description of the photograph. They look like they're having a good time. At the time, Falwell took heat from conservative pundits, including The View's Meghan McCain, who tweeted, "How is this Jerry Falwell Jr. photo even real? Also, if you're running the largest Christian university in America, maybe you don't put photos of yourself up on social media with your pants undone on a yacht with random women in bad wigs." I know. I hate to agree with Meghan McCain, but, you know. Republican politicians have remained mum regarding the controversial photo posted by Falwell. Politico reported that Falwell addressed the controversy Wednesday during an interview with a radio station in Lynchburg, Virginia. He says, "I've apologized to everyone, and I've promised my kids I'm going to try to be a good boy from here on out." What does that mean? I'm going to try to be a good boy from here on out? Falwell said that the woman he posed with for the photo is his wife's assistant, and that the picture was just in good fun. She's pregnant, so she couldn't get her pants up, Falwell explained, and I was I had a pair of jeans on that I hadn't worn in a long time, so I couldn't get mine zipped either. So I just put my belly out like hers, and they took the photo and then put it on Instagram. Are you kidding me? Really? Stupid. I mean, this is just stupid. Jerry Falwell Jr. is so important, not just to the MAGA movement, but future elections as well. And for him to go out and do something, I mean, she doesn't look very pregnant to me. How pregnant is she when the photo was taken? And, you know, a lot of people, I think, and I don't like the idea that he's out on the yacht. It's one thing to be on a yacht, but when you say the yacht, that kind of implies that it's your yacht. Should a pastor have a yacht? What do you guys think about that? Should a pastor have a yacht? And, you know, when you take photographs with people, and you're a pastor, and a national pastor, you don't have your pants undone. All right, Jerry Falwell Jr.? And what is this, I'll try to be a good boy going forward? What has he been doing? I'm pissed off at him to do something so stupid. I don't believe pastors should have yachts, okay? That's just me. I know a lot of people say, well, you know, they generate a lot of money and they, you know, and they're at a certain lifestyle. I don't like that idea at all. I don't like the idea of these millionaire pastors. I don't care how much money the church makes. I don't care how much money the Christian school makes and the university. I don't believe pastors should be living high on the hog like this. my recollection with Jerry Falwell Sr. is that he, obviously, they had money, coming in, but he didn't live, I don't remember him living this way. In fact, I remember he would drive old cars even. And some people may say that was for image, maybe it was, but I don't think so. I don't think Jerry Falwell Sr. was living the high life like his son, who looks like he's living like a playboy. And, pastors, I mean, look at the fall here in town of Pastor Bob Coy. Pastors, they get put up on a pedestal, right? They get put up on a pedestal. You've got to be so careful when you're in these positions. And they have all the temptations that everyone would have at that level. They become celebrities, they're wealthy, and, Jerry, this to me, maybe it's a little premature, but this to me looks like the beginning of the downfall of Jerry Falwell Jr. And that would be unfortunate. All right, our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E. And the number 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'd like to hear your thoughts on all of the topics I brought on the air this morning, including Jerry Falwell Jr. Oh, man. All right, let's take some calls before we break. Good morning. Oh, hey, Attorney Barry Siegel. You caught me off guard, Barry Siegel. But getting caught off guard, that's what Barry Siegel will stop happening to your family when you meet with him for that free consultation and talk to him about estate planning. Good morning, Barry. How are you?
I'll use what you were saying to get started about getting caught off guard. Don't get caught off guard because you didn't know about how probate works and how expensive it is. Probate can cost anywhere from 3 to 5% of the total assets that you have going through the probate process. The statutory fees in Florida run about 3%, but by the time you're done with all the other expenses outside, it can run up to 5%. So you may think that you're avoiding probate because you have a beneficiary designation on your bank account or your brokerage account, on other assets. But what about your home? Do you have a beneficiary on your home? Probably not. So let's say you have a $300,000 home here in South Florida. Now all of a sudden you're looking at about $15,000 potentially in probate costs. When it wasn't necessary, you could have completely avoided that simply by seeing an estate planning attorney who could help you set up a revocable living trust, guide you on the funding process, because if you just do a trust on its own and you don't do the funding, you're still going to have those assets go through probate. So if this is something that concerns you, that means it would be a good idea to take us up on the free consultation that we've been offering Steve Kane Show listeners, and we're here for you. All you have to do is give us a call and set it up.
Yeah, and one thing I've heard from listeners many times that are now clients of yours, Barry Siegel, is that how much time you spent with each of them going over every little detail, because every person's situation is unique, right? And how much time you spent making sure that every eventuality, many of which they never even imagined, is addressed and taken care of for them. And Attorney Barry Siegel does incredible work. I hear from listeners quite often who are clients, very satisfied. And you know what I noticed with clients that I talk to, other than that they're all praising you, Barry Siegel, is it's like you've taken a weight off their shoulders. Really, yeah.
We do get a lot of that, especially when people have completed the process. I actually physically can see what you're talking about with the weight coming off their shoulders. That they say that they finally feel like they have the peace of mind that this is done. It's one.
Yeah. Well, listen, give Attorney Barry Siegel a call. His number is toll-free, 855-FLA, 3782. Barry has offices. His main office is located in Boca, but he has offices throughout Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County. And in this era of distance meeting and social distancing, he can also have ways to meet you where you don't have to physically go in. And they're very well set up for that as well. 855-FLA-3782 and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry Siegel, you have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week. All right, take care. All right, let's finish up the break, and then we'll be right back, okay? I'm Brian. This is The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back after this.
The best night's sleep in the whole wide world is MyPillow.com.
You've heard the jingle and seen the commercials, and that's right. You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with a MyPillow. Have you not gotten your MyPillow yet? Right now is the best time to do it.
That's right, Brian. Hey guys, this is Brian's wife, Kathy, and this is the best time to get a MyPillow. They have amazing deals. Take advantage of them now.
Go to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener link, and you will see all these great deals. Like the buy one MyPillow, get one for free. There's a BOGO offer right now on the Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets and get the second set free.
You gotta love BOGO deals. They're the best. And you can take advantage of so many right now at MyPillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to MyPillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world is MyPillow.com.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Oh man, I was just on Twitter. Welcome back, everyone. And it says Phil Collins is trending. What happened with Phil Collins? He didn't die, did he? Why is Phil Collins all of a sudden trending on the? No, he didn't die. Okay. Oh my goodness. Some people are just discovering his music for the first time. I saw Phil Collins tweeting, and what else could he hasn't had a hit song in a long time. That makes you worry, right? If a celebrity's tweeting, Phil Collins is alive. That's right. Thankfully so. Oh my goodness. Chris Hayes on MSNBC. He did this. He had a meltdown last night, and he's having a meltdown over something we were talking about on the show yesterday. The Trump campaign is actively working to get Kanye West on ballots throughout the country. This is all happening by the Trump campaign, not Kanye, and it's an Operation Chaos type operation. And Phil Collins. I'm going to look through this, by the way. I don't want to get sidetracked into Phil Collins. Steve will kill me. But I love Phil Collins. Okay, Phil Collins is awesome. And he has one song. I'm going to go through on Twitter when I get a chance here during one of the breaks and see if he has one thing that I could see him. One song that could have him trending in a very negative way, and I don't know if that's it. I'll look during the break. But he has a lot of great songs. What's your favorite Phil Collins song, people? But he has one song that is very, very good that I don't even know if they would play anymore. Illegal Alien? Remember Phil Collins' Illegal Alien? That was a big hit for Phil Collins after he left Genesis. Might have been one of his first hits after he went solo there with Genesis. I don't know. I don't think they'll be playing Illegal Alien too much these days. It's not politically correct. But anyway, Chris Hayes and other Democrats yesterday went on a complete meltdown because I've got Illegal Alien in my head now. Because the Trump campaign is getting Kanye and all these ballots around the country. It's an Operation Chaos operation. I don't remember them having meltdowns when Mitt Romney put that fake Republican on the ballot in 2016. I don't remember that at all. All right, well, let's get into some of the audio sound bites. Joe Biden yesterday, the day before yesterday, he asked the black interviewer if he was a junkie. Remember that one?
Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive
No,
test?
I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test? Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say?
Are you a junkie? I love it. And if it couldn't get then yesterday, he makes a very racist comment about African Americans.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Okay, so black people all think alike, with notable exceptions. And, of course, who are those exceptions? We don't know. Now, this is... yeah, he's an old racist. Okay? He's an old racist. He has lost his ability to control the words that come out of his mouth. He just says whatever he's thinking. Now, I know a lot of people say, well, Trump says whatever he's thinking. Absolutely, but he's not saying racist things. Each and every day, Joe Biden says something, does something that would be a career ender for any Republican. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. When he makes these comments in the past, he's always made crazy comments, okay? He would always say stupid things when he was a little younger and more with it. And the left would excuse it. Oh, that's just Joe. You know how Joe is. You never know what he's going to say, right? He used the F word at the White House to President Obama when they passed the Obamacare. Remember, he said, this is a big effing deal, man. And he said the whole F word. Remember that? I mean, or he asked the guy in a wheelchair to stand up and, he did, oh, that's Joe, in Scranton. That's how they roll in Scranton. But now what he's saying is just downright racist. And what happens to people when they're suffering from severe cognitive decline and dementia sets in, the worst qualities of people come out, right? Like grumpy old men, right? And I know, sadly, many of us have had people in our very own families that have had Alzheimer's and other cognitive issues, and you notice that about them, right? And what I noticed, everyone I've known that's had cognitive issues as they grow older, the worst qualities of them come most pronounced, and that's because they lose the ability to police themselves. The big comparison I always make is it's like when someone's intoxicated, they're always running at the mouth. Joe Biden is obsessed with race. I mean, he's talking like a Democrat back in the 50s or early 60s, 40s even, because that's he's a man from another time. He's kind of like Austin Powers, like he's been thawed out and here he is, or Sylvester Stallone in Demolition Man. He's a man from another time. He is a racist. He has a very low opinion of black people, and they can run around and find someone who is black that'll run with him, but it doesn't change the fact that he is what he is. He's an old-time racist. And if you look at his slips, his slips are on a variety of things, like he thinks he's married to his sister was one. But the one thing that's most common are these racist comments that come out of his mouth. Yeah, corn pop, remember that, and all this stuff. This double standard is not new, right? Republicans say one thing, they're done. They're out of office. Democrats always have total immunity from whatever it is they say or do. I don't know why that is. I've never really been able to understand it. Maybe because the Democrats control so much of the mainstream media and always have. I don't know. Right? But it's been 2 days in a row very racist comments from Joe Biden. Have you heard any prominent African-American leaders come out and comment on this? Oh, they call Trump a racist all day and all night, but what has he ever done or said that is racist? Oh, he called Mexicans he didn't call all Mexicans anything. He said many people are fleeing Mexico to start a new life because they lived a life of crime south of the border, is what he was saying. Everybody knows what he was saying. Trump has never said anything that's racist. This guy says something racist, well, almost every day now. And not called out on it. We talk about it, conservatives talk about it, mainstream media, blip, boom, forgotten, and it's a joke. Even when I see it on Fox, it's handled almost as a joke. And, you know, I hear so much discussion from health experts on every news network, including Fox. Have you seen anyone seriously discuss, a medical guest, a medical pundit, a medical correspondent, discuss seriously about the cognitive decline of Joe Biden? There's a new video that the Trump campaign put out. It doesn't translate in audio, okay? I did pull up the audio. It doesn't translate too well in audio. It's a comparison of comments. They give you a comment of Biden today and then one before he lost his mind to show how far he's gone. I did tweet it. It's on Twitter. Maybe I'll play it again. I don't know. It didn't seem to work so well when I played the audio because you can't tell when you're listening, which is, you know, it's difficult. It's more of a visual. And when this new video that the Trump campaign has put out puts in perspective really how far Joe Biden has fallen. And I stick with what I said from the beginning. I don't make fun of Biden. I am so reluctant to play any of these clips of Joe Biden because I don't want to make fun of someone. I will not mock someone because of a health issue like that. I believe Joe Biden is a victim of elder abuse. I stand by that today. I've been saying it all year. He is a victim of elder abuse. And his wife, Jill Biden, should be ashamed of herself. And, you know, when she's doing an interview, like she did with Dana Perino, who sucked up to her, I watched that interview. What Jill Biden is doing is elder abuse. It's incredibly selfish because she wants to be first lady so bad she can taste it. And she knows that if Joe were to become the president, she'd be running the country. In a way, she'd be the first female president. Democrats did this with Woodrow Wilson. He had a stroke in his second term, and his wife was running the country for a year, they say. She knows she'll be running the country. And plus, it's a way to enrich themselves. And I know a lot of people say, oh, she seems like such a nice person. Look at her son's problems. This is a messed up family. Very messed up family. And everyone's dancing around this issue. And shame on Fox News. Shame on Fox News. Could you imagine if we had somebody in that kind of mental state as the President of the United States? What would happen? You know what would happen? There'd be a complete financial collapse of the markets. Because there would be chaos in this. This country is in a health crisis, an economic crisis, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, we're in a new Cold War with China. There's a Cold War going on with China right now. You know, Trump's back calling it the China virus, right? The Chinese virus. Why do you think he's doing that? This thing with TikTok, and there's some other apps too he's signed an executive order on. There's a Cold War with China. It's getting worse. It started with the trade negotiations. Trump is amping it up with them. You know, you're going to put somebody like that in the White House when we've got a new Cold War, a pandemic health crisis, and there's an economic crisis too because the country is not reopened fully yet. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. Steve will be joining us. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back after this.
Think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
Steve Kane Show.
Came into contact with somebody
Hey, Ian, hold on.
who tested positive for COVID, and I was here hours, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So
Steve Kane Show.
Go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the
Steve Kane Show.
Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto
Hello?
Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009.
Steve Kane Show.
561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid proving. Call the Siegel with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach.
Steve Kane Show.
Call toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, we are back 33 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. I'm not sure if we've got Steve queued up yet. Steve, are you with us? Steve? Okay, you're with us. You're with us. I was trying to call you during the break. I couldn't get you on the line. Steve is with us. Welcome. This is our completion of our first week of you in the new Steve Kane Cooper City studio. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're going to check in here, though, before we get rolling here with you, Steve, with Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, the Trump 2020 Victory Cruise coming up. Hey, Ian. How you doing?
Really awesome activities locked in for December 6th.
You know, I am in. Yeah, this has been a rough year, I think, for everyone. I think I need a vacation. You need a vacation, Steve? I need a vacation. I can think of nothing better than a week off. You know, one thing, Steve. I'm a little nervous about this, but also excited. We're going to be doing our live in-person talk show in just an incredible venue. We have incredible parties planned. We have events each and every day on board the ship at sea, and we've got some shore activities planned. And of course, the cruise prices have been reduced dramatically for obvious reasons. And it's a great time to call and make a reservation, isn't it, Ian? Yeah.
Anything, taking care of everything, and it's just...
Now, out of all of the activities, because Ian and I, these cruises take a lot of planning, and we have activities planned every day, day and night. And what activity have you planned for us and locked up for us already on board the ship that you think is going to be the most exciting and most fun for us all?
The martini tasting.
Oh, yes.
Having our martini tasting in a private venue, in a completely private environment. Only our guests who are booked into our group are, eligible to enter. And I really think that in conjunction with our event on the rooftop garden, if you remember that venue from...
Yeah, we have an event at the very top of the ship, Steve, outside, that's going to take place while we are at sea, and I'm very excited about that, where they have the big television screens up there, a private event. It's going to be great. Listen, these cruises are an incredible amount of fun, and you almost are all invited. Liberal Al the John is not invited, but the rest of you are. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Join me and Steve Kane on the Steve Kane Trump 2020 Victory Cruise on the Celebrity Edge. Ian's number is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Give Ian a call. You can call him right now. All right, Ian, you have a great weekend. All right, take care. Take care. All right, Steve. I mean, a lot of craziness going on out there. Did you hear me talk? This. Yeah, go ahead.
Out.
Oh, okay.
First to.
Yeah, this thing with Jerry Falwell Jr. is just devastating. Oh my goodness, the picture with his pants undone, with the redhead. Oh my goodness. It's not a good picture. Yeah. I talked about it a little bit a while ago. That was one of the Jerry Falwell Jr. Took a photograph that he posted online and deleted shortly thereafter. He says, enjoying a time with friends on the yacht. He has got his arm around a very good-looking, red-headed woman that's not his wife. She has her pants unbuttoned and partially unzipped. Her entire midriff is showing. He's got his hand around the on the skin around her hip area. He has his pants undone, and partially unzipped, and he's talking about having a good time on the yacht there. He went on local radio in Lynchburg and apologized, and said he's going to try to be a good boy. Those are his words, moving forward. And the woman was an assistant of his wife's, apparently. It's just not it's not helpful to us right now. He's a very important figure in the MAGA movement. Did I lose you, Steve? Well, the fifth day in the new studio. We'll get Steve back. Good morning. You're on the radio. Hey, Mike. Are you back, Steve? Okay. You're back. We lost you for a minute. All right. So did you hear all that, Steve? Oh, I can't repeat it again. That'll be the third. Well, let's just go to the calls. Mike, you're on the radio.
This is Mike from Louisiana. But, you're right. What they're doing to Joe Biden is ghoulish.
Yeah, it's elder abuse.
Yeah, it is elder abuse. And she's the lead ghoul. His wife is the lead ghoul. I mean, I remember at one point in one of your commercials with Dr. Matez, he said he flat out could help Joe Biden with his cognitive problems.
Yes.
And obviously they're not going that route to correct the problems because she.
Well, I don't know that I agree with that, Mike. I mean, I wouldn't assume that they're not working behind the scenes feverishly with him to try to get him in some kind of coherent shape. I just think it's a mark of how deteriorated his condition has become that they're not able to really show any results.
Well, Dr. Matez.
Kinds of medication.
Well, he's on the wrong ones. Dr. Matez the other day said that he can tell that he's not on a hormone replacement pellet therapy because he would snap out of this state if he were.
Probably true, but
yeah,
he's doing something. I'm sure they're giving him some kind of drugs. But he's beyond medical.
You think he's beyond medical help?
In terms of speaking coherently and being able to express himself the way you need to during a presidential campaign, he shows no sign of being.
Why is everyone on Fox dancing around this issue? They're not really talking about it.
Well, because those of us who are of a conservative bent are always paranoid that they're going to try to turn things around and blame it on us.
No, I disagree with you.
And it's political. If you need a phrase to describe it, it's political correctness.
I don't think so at all. I think Fox is trying to. No, I think Fox News Channel is trying to score a big exclusive interview with Biden, and they don't want to touch on it because they want to be friendly and get an interview with him. That's what I think's going on. They used to do that with Mayor Pete, who's disappeared now. All right, hey Mike, anything else, Mike, before I move on?
Of course. The thing you look at Joe Biden, and you look at some of the things he said. Of course, he's a racist.
Oh yes.
Of course that, but Shotgun Joe, all this stuff that he's.
Yeah.
I've always said this, Brian. His time should have been 2016, but not to run. And who you gotta ask yourself. Yeah, the excuse was his son had just died, and he was.
No, it was Hillary's turn. You know, Hillary was supposed to be the nominee in 2008, and Obama surprised everyone and took it from her, so they owed it to her. All right, Mike of Louisiana, thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. Brian, I was wondering if you agreed with me on this or not, but it seems like there's kind of like this massive ignorance in the country in the sense of what fascism is. And like fascism is, you know, I'd say there's a technical definition for fascism. It's the collusion of corporate and government interests. What we have on the really, you know, Donald Trump has an opportunity to be the entirely anti-fascist president, I believe. You know, if he first of all, if he tightens up on, I think, antitrust legislation and breaking up some of these companies that are obviously hostile. Look, the media is nothing but a fascist. If you're going to go with the definition, corporations, a corporate entity.
Well, I don't know. I'm not. Hold on, Mike. I'm not sure that you're definitely. Repeat the definition you gave of fascism.
Collusion of corporate and government interests. Entirely collusive. It's when the government.
Well, I don't know.
That's not the definition.
I don't believe that that's an adequate definition.
No, it's not.
The work they're doing now, in the flight to Mars and the space program and all that, that's kind of a combination of private interests.
Yeah, that's the Antifa definition of fascism. Fascism is one-party dictatorial rule, and they stomp out any opposition. That's fascism. Isn't your definition is the Antifa definition of fascism. That's not the true definition. One-party dictatorial rule and stomp out all political opposition. That's what fascism is.
What's happening right now on corporate level?
What is it with you and corporations? What is your beef with corporations?
Nothing to do with corporations, but corporations need to be reined in too. I mean, you can't. You know, look, I'm a conservative. Actually, I'm in the sense that I believe that there should be more capitalism in the.
Well, first thing we need is more cell phone connections, as we lost him on his cell phone. Good morning, you're on the radio. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, conservative Doug.
I'm not sure. Hold on. Brian.
Yes, Steve.
I'm not sure the problem was with the caller's cell phone. I'm getting cutting in and out on all these.
Oh, well, listen, in the break, get Tyler to disconnect you again like yesterday and reconnect, and it'll be better. So let me, you guys do that now, and then I'll go to you after the break, Steve. I'll talk to Doug, break, and come back to you. All right? We'll do that. All right. Hey, all right, Doug, go ahead.
I actually called because I wanted to say why I'm about to give up on our governor, but first...
Really? On Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis should be listening to the president.
Why are you? What did Ron DeSantis do that has you upset?
Oh, okay. We know that the CDC says we should open the schools. We know that the rate of deaths are way down.
Yeah.
Cool. He should be directing everybody with it.
The reason, okay, now this is, DeSantis is doing incredible things. By the way, he just opened up interstate travel back into New York, from New York and other places in the Florida. The reason I think Ron DeSantis doesn't sign an executive order to reopen the schools is because he doesn't think the local counties will obey him. I don't know, he can't just fire the school boards, they're elected officials. You know, and superintendents are hired by the school board. There was an issue with this. When DeSantis removed the sheriff and the election supervisor in Broward County, a lot of people wanted Governor DeSantis to remove the Broward superintendent of schools. And Ron DeSantis came out and said he didn't have the authority to do that. to remove the superintendent because they are hired by the elected school board. So I don't think he feels he's got enough juice to get the schools to reopen. That's why he doesn't do it. But a lot of districts are opening, okay? This is the thing. If you notice what happened in Florida when the reopening started, a county opens, right? And it started here in South Florida in Martin County, which is where Stewart is, which is Trump country. This very conservative county. It's where Dan Bongino lives. I'm in Palm Beach County right now in Boca. It's the county just north. Martin County opened up. Liberal Palm Beach, liberal Broward, liberal Dade wouldn't do anything. There was so much pressure because Martin County opened up on Palm Beach County because they border one another, people travel between the two, that Palm Beach opened up. And then when Palm Beach opened up, it put pressure on Broward. There's a domino effect. So the schools are going to be open in Martin. When those schools open up in Martin, you'll see Palm Beach open up soon thereafter once the school year starts. There's too much pressure.
That'd be nice. I think if he made an order and nobody obeyed it, at least he made the order and made it seem.
He didn't order the counties to reopen, and when Martin County opened, you had the do-do-do-do-do. You'll see. I'm telling you, Ron DeSantis, like President Trump, is very smart, and he always knows what he's doing, and he's always several steps ahead of the liberals. All right, hey, listen, I got to run. We'll get Steve back. Let's take our last break of the second hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our number is toll free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose the Gardens of Boca Raton to be my final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the Gardens of Boca Raton, I could
you ready
feel
now?
my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca Raton is an all-faith, above-ground cemetery.
Well, this is the thing. I either have you on or off, and so I got to keep you.
Can come and visit you.
Anything you say or do there can be heard.
And celebrating your life. The Gardens have caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your family as they are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Business owners, is your business open and you want to let your customers know? Have you changed the services you offer and want to get the word out? Let people know you are open for business. This is Brian Craig. Call me at 1-888-465-2631 and let's talk about how the Steve Kane Show can get the word out that you are open for business. Don't let the coronavirus crisis get you out of business. Give me a call, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Alrighty, we're back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, 10 before 8. I'm Brian, and of course Steve here. That's right. That's good. We got you back. We got you back. I think it's done well. I've been listening on the way into work on the radio to the show, and I can't tell you're not with me with this. And by next week, when we don't reference it all the time, because we'll be more used to it, it's I don't think people will even notice. You know, there's been a ratings increase at MSNBC, pretty significant one. Rachel Maddow came. She was in third place in prime time. Hannity beat Tucker. It was Hannity, Tucker, then Maddow. That was Wednesday. And some of the other daytime shows on MSNBC have been doing much better than normal. And even beating Fox on occasion. I got the answer for that. That's why I brought it up. Because everyone's wrong about this. people look at that and say, oh, look, yeah, these polls about Biden, the liberals are out there, they're watching MSNBC. That is not the case. I believe many Trump people are disgusted by Fox News. That Chris Wallace interview really did a lot of damage, and I think a lot of conservatives are not watching. They're pissed off at Fox News, and they're not watching. It's not that MSNBC is gaining, it's that Fox is losing people. That's what's going on here, in my view.
If you get annoyed, according to your theory, if you get annoyed listening to Fox, you go crazy listening to MSNBC.
No, I don't think they're going to MSNBC. No. Well, because there's the rating. The way they do television ratings now, every cable box is a Nielsen box now, right? Remember they used to do it like on an average with the Nielsen family. They're closer in actual viewers to Fox News. Like Rachel Maddow was third in prime time on Wednesday night as opposed to fifth or sixth or something, right? It's not that they're gaining viewers, it's that Fox is losing viewers, so they look closer in numbers. I think people are so pissed off, it's so much that Chris Wallace is doing more damage to Fox News than Shepard Smith was. You know, and yeah.
So the other thing, that strikes me is, I don't think I'm the only one, but I'm the only one I hear talking about it. Hannity has just gotten insufferable. Everybody's got a book they put out, and everybody's used to, it's part of the game is contractually you get to produce a book or two a year, which enhances your income. But we don't begrudge that system that he wrote a book and it's on the air, but it's like with everything else with Hannity, his ego is just swept in, and last night it just consumed the whole show, talking and promoting his appearance after and inviting this one to the appearance after and that one. He's just this.
He's a monster. He's become a monster.
He's in the word. The Riverdale word for this is insufferable.
Well, I know what that's about. What's happened is him and his wife are now divorced, and he started having sex with other women for the first time as a celebrity, and the quality of women he has sex with today is much higher than he had prior, and his ego, midlife crisis. He has hot women having sex with him, or a hot woman having sex with him. He may be monogamous, and that's where the ego's coming from. Absolutely. That's what I think. I don't think it's about the fame or the wealth. He's had that for years. The only thing that's new is that he's having sex with women or a woman that's not his former wife.
I don't know if I had to bet either way whether I agree with your position that he's been monogamous up till now.
I believe he has.
Because if I had to take, a wager one way or the other, I would say he's not been a virgin up till this point.
No? Yeah. Well, something led to the marriage falling apart. It was, so something happened there. He wasn't a Boy Scout.
It may not just be that. It may just be that his wife got fed up with his ego.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm pretty fed up with it.
How would you like to, be faced with that ego first thing when you get up in the morning and last thing to bed?
Those celebrity egos can destroy a career. The ego is what destroyed Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck isn't really a player anymore like he used to be.
Last night is a good example of the show was unlistenable. He spent the whole time promoting his special appearance after the show.
Well, maybe a way for maybe that's trolling for girls since he's single now.
Don't hear as many listeners as I would imagine complaining about it like I do.
I think people don't like it. Luckily Rush stopped. Let's open up the phones. What do you guys think about Hannity? I think people feel like we do. These egos get out of control. Like Rush is a good guy, so I'm not knocking Rush, but he used to do this thing years ago.
Rush does not. This is his strength as an artist. he feigns, he
Yeah.
satire, tongue in cheek, doing a satire of.
Yeah, but he used to do something. He used to do something years ago that he stopped doing, and he's happily, So I don't want people to misunderstand what I'm saying. This was many years ago when he was single, and he would talk about the girls at every port. Remember that, like the Philadelphia mistress and all of that, and that was a bit much. Yeah, brief phase. And Hannity is going through I think Hannity's going through a midlife crisis. That's what I think's going on. Like the guy goes out and gets the Vet or the Lamborghini.
We've got more important things to think about, unfortunately, in this day and age than Hannity's.
No, he's important. Because, let me tell you why. It's like this thing he's important to the MAGA movement. He's important to, he's very influential. He's very important. It's like this thing with Jerry Falwell taking a picture with a woman he's not married to with his pants undone and her pants undone and all this stuff. These people sway voters behind candidates. Jerry Falwell, Sean Hannity. And if Sean Hannity look at how influential Glenn Beck used to be. He did that event at the National Mall that no one in radio has ever pulled off before, something that big. And now he's his ego, he's not a player anymore. And Hannity, if we lost Hannity, it would be a big blow. It'd be a big blow in the next elections. Obviously there's always somebody new, but
I'm wondering if we're going to lose the National Rifle Association in the next election.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad. I talked about it in the first hour. We can go over it again. This is devastating. What's going on with the NRA?
I don't know. That's the question. The question is, just because they're being sued, does that mean they will be ineffective? When you stop and you think about it, the lawsuit against the NRA is a great fundraising thing. I'll bet you they've already got major mailers out on it to raise funds. I'm just wondering, and I haven't been able to get a clear picture watching Fox as to whether it is going to interfere with the campaign.
I don't think it'll interfere with this one, but I worry about the next one because as soon, we got the midterms coming up. Now, we'll be fine in this one. We're too close to the election. They all count because after Trump's re-election, we got the midterms.
From what I was able to figure out listening, it's a question of whether the prosecution, New York State, will be able to freeze the NRA fund.
Oh my gosh, I haven't heard anybody say, are you kidding me? I haven't heard that one. Oh. Make them unavailable? Oh.
Saying that as a fact.
Oh my goodness, that would be devastating.
And that has to be answered as to whether it's going to interfere with their ability.
That would be devastating. That would be devastating. Yeah.
Ideally, you would think that's what they have in mind.
That would be destructive in the congressional races. The House races would be hit hard by that.
Maybe we got listeners out there that can shed some light on it.
Oh my goodness. I have no doubt that
won.
I have no doubt that Wayne LaPierre has been, Wayne LaPierre's ego is out of control. It's like Hannity, So everything they're saying about him using the money as a piggy bank is true, I'm sure. And once they open up the books, I'm sure it'll be worse than so far it's been reported.
And it's hard to keep focused on this, but the fact is we do live in America where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And there's only a short couple months till the election. Hopefully, it could backfire on the Democrats and lead to better fundraising than ever. But I don't know what the legal complications or implications.
If they, this Attorney General in New York, she ran promising to sue Donald Trump. Was part of her platform. So she's not a credible person.
There in New York.
Yeah.
She's representing the state of New York.
Yeah. All right, listen, we're going to take our break for the top of the hour. Okay, 2 hours down, 1 to go. We'll be back with the third and final hour of the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show after this. If you'd like to call in, please do. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1, 888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
9.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for the brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously wanted $800. He said, well, you need to change your power steering fluid. And Ed, the owner, put the car up on the lift, pulled the wheels. He goes, you don't need brakes. And I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got any hopes?
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack, they're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group.
Hey everyone, make sure you like the video. Okay, if you don't mind, like the video. If you're on a mobile device, just close out the chat and do the thumbs up and then we'll reopen it.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE. 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, third and final hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig, joined by Steve Kane. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We had a caller call in on the overnight, leave a voicemail about your helter-skelter discussion yesterday, Steve, to give us some insight on it. Yeah, let me play it for you. This telling us what helter-skelter is about. Now, remember, the song came before Manson, right? It was a hit. Manson took the song and turned it into his own thing. Yeah. Here's the call. All right, so this was by the way, whenever we are not on the air, you can leave Steve and I voicemail messages. And if they're good, we'll play them on the air. But if you're trying to reach Steve Kane or reach me, you can always call that 888-GO-KANE-1 number. I put the voicemail on as soon as we leave the air, and it's on until we return on the air the next day. And I do get the messages throughout the day. So if you leave a voicemail message, I get. But anyway, this is a message a listener left on the overnight about Helter Skelter.
Hey man, I'm listening overnight, and tell Steve that the song Helter Skelter was actually about a roller coaster that they used to ride in Liverpool. So I don't know how that relates to Manson, but that's what it's about.
Okay, there you go. It's about a roller coaster in Liverpool. Helter Skelter. I'm sure they renamed it. Oh my goodness. No, well, it was information though. But now we know what the song was about at least. A lot of mystery. Well, everyone was high back then. You can't make sense out of a drug-induced era, you know. You know, did you this comment that Trump made yesterday at the Whirlpool factory? This cryptic comment was so strange. Did you see this speech yesterday?
I saw the speech. I didn't even notice the comments you're talking about. I think after you describe it to me, repeat what the...
Well, let me play it for you. And the internet, and Twitter in particular, are just in a buzz about what he's talking about. This is Trump yesterday, Whirlpool factory, with this cryptic comment.
So wealthy. They are so wealthy. Nobody has any idea who the hell they are, what they do. They make more money than the drug companies. You know, in all fairness, at least the drug companies have to produce a product. It has to be a good product. But the middleman, well, the rebate that I'm doing cuts out the middleman and it reduces costs, and the money goes back to the people purchasing the drugs.
Okay, now he's talking about him lowering U.S. drug prices to be more in line with what other countries pay. And then he says this.
So I have a lot of enemies out there. This may be the last time you'll see me for a while. A lot of very, very rich enemies, but they are not happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I got a lot. Well, listen. You think? You may not see me for... What's the joke? I missed that. I don't hear the humor.
Companies are, or the middlemen between the drug companies and the big pharma or whatever it is, are going to put out a hit.
Oh, I didn't take it as that. But I think, listen, what Trump has done, yeah.
For Twitter. I'm always looking about what's in the paper and what's on Fox. That's my information source. You always go to Twitter.
Yeah.
You have this impression that the Twitter sphere represents the average American, and only lately I've found out, listening to other shows and other sources, Twitter is a fringe group, and that's not mainstream America, what Twitter's interested in. You seem to think when a thing makes Twitter, that gives it significance.
Yeah.
It's a fringe group, Twitter.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Twitter, mainstream.
Group aren't these the people that are trying to destroy Trump?
Well, it's a mob. Yeah, the Twitter mob is what O'Reilly called it. Yeah.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the whole point. So I wouldn't put, because it's on the Twitter sphere, that doesn't make me inclined to take it more seriously. In fact, maybe the other way around.
Why, more people are reached by news on Twitter than they are on all the cable news combined.
But it's a certain limited in audience. It's not mainstream America. I just learned this listening to Fox.
Yeah.
Fox and discussions of where Twitter fits into the the information flow today, and it's a subgroup. It's a cult.
Yeah. Did you see this? No, I'm not going to argue with you about it. I mean, we've been arguing about that for a long time. I thought the election of Donald Trump in 2016 proved that the mainstream media was the internet and not television news, because the cable news were after him so much, and he won.
If we have anybody out there that's
Steve Kane Show,
a lawyer who is recruiting legal minds from our audience, I would like to know if Twitter is going to, if the internet is going to get Trump's way during the next couple of months.
Yeah.
To the day before the election, by some strange coincidence.
Yeah. Well, you want to take some calls? All right, let's take some calls. 1-888-GO-KANE-1 is our number, toll free from anywhere. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes?
You got me. Okay, I thought I saw something that there's the amount of people on Twitter, there's lots of bots.
Yes.
Multiply, so it's not necessarily a fact.
Well, yeah, and there's videos of this you can find online. What they do, you're absolutely correct. And there are places, they call them like Twitter farms in China. and they'll have setups with hundreds and even thousands of computers and cell phones that are constantly tweeting and retweeting a particular thing. You know, like when Hillary was running, a lot of her things were, you know, being passed around the internet this way. So it looks like there's multiple users, but it's a factory. No, you're absolutely correct. No, it's, yeah.
TikTok. Trump wants to eliminate them or something. That's another Chinese thing you got.
Well, you know, what's going on, I mean, we're in a Cold War with China now. Yeah, we're in a Cold War with China, and I don't think people realize it yet, but we are, and Trump has been pissed off at them since the virus started. You know, you notice he was yesterday. He's back to calling it the China virus, right? You know, in all of his talks, and that's new in the last few days. And this thing with TikTok is huge because TikTok has been used to steal everyone's data that has it on their phone. And TikTok is doing something that's, I know you're not too familiar with TikTok, Steve, but it's a very yeah.
Every time I hear references to this technology universe out there, I get a feeling in the pit of my stomach that it's not good for the future.
Well, what TikTok, see, what they've been doing, Caller, with TikTok, I don't think you've heard anybody talk about this aspect of it that I'm going to talk about. We know, according to the president and the attorney general, they're spying on, and the secretary of state, they're spying on us through TikTok, right? Anybody that has whatever information, if you have TikTok on your phone, all your information is being gathered, according to Pompeo. That's right. And this is something about TikTok. I know a little bit about TikTok because, you know, the people that are on TikTok, the people that are on let me tell you, the people that are on TikTok, like regular kids, have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok. And I couldn't figure out how people were like, I know this one kid, he's got almost 500,000 followers on TikTok. He's just a regular guy, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think China has been inflating the subscription numbers to get more young people on it, to even steal more data, and they all use TikTok. And it's a big problem. It's a big problem with spying on this, but it's all by China. By the way, thanks for the call. See, I think what Trump has done that's caused him the most grief from the corporations is negotiating the trade deals with the U.S. and China. I think that's what has them most upset at Trump more than anything.
It is. That doesn't mean he's going to disappear from.
Yeah. It was a strange thing to say. It just was odd. It was. Listen, let's take our break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about, all right? Coming up on 15 minutes after 8, I'm Brian. Steve, of course, here with us. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
You've heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and many other Steve Kane listeners tell you about the great work Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care offers. Steve Kane listener, hey, called in, he had an accident, he went to Dr. Gupta, and he told us his story.
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood. Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I fainted coming out of my bathroom. And I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted, I fell, I cracked my chin, it hit my upper teeth, and I cracked my 3 front teeth. I want to thank you, and I really want to thank Dr. Gupta. I mean, he, besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, you know, his assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. Appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in, but this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one, to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr.
Yeah,
Gupta.
I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Eve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new
Steve
commercial
Kane
for
Show.
Dr. Gupta.
Do what Hank did. Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Feeling old, tired, run down? Struggling with your sex life or weight control? Dr. Matez can fix it. Call the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490 or visit their website at brc4am.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Welcome back. I'm Brian. Steve here with us. You want to go back to the phone, Steve? All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, guys? It's a pretty scary thing that Trump...
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It's a pretty scary thing that Trump said when he said that you may not see me for a while when he was criticizing the middlemen, those scumbags.
You don't think it's a joke? You don't think he was joking?
No, I don't think he's joking. You know, this is the first president I pray for every night. I mean, to me, he's really an epic.
What he was doing in that comment is letting everyone know, because the press aren't telling you this, how much he is doing and what impact he is doing. You know, this thing with the pharmaceutical prices, the trade deals, you know, TikTok, you know, he's telling, you know, Microsoft says, well, we'll just buy it and it'll be okay. He says, well, no. And, you know, he wants people to know that he's taking on the big guys, is what he's doing. That's what he meant by it. It's not as cryptic as people might think. Yeah.
That's his trademark.
You know, what the left, when there's bad news, the way the left react to it tells you so much about them. And I just saw this story during the break at on the CNN website. And, you know, this is CNN's website. Trump's, you know, what so many people are waiting for is the vaccine, right? The coronavirus vaccine. This is the headline. Trump's dreams of a vaccine as his October surprise aren't rooted in reality. And then they have this whole article about how, you know, you can tell they don't want a vaccine before the election is basically what the whole article sounds like. CNN, it's CNN.
All right. Do they have any medical sources?
They've always got medical sources that tell you that this guy, you know, it says here, he predicts a vaccine breakthrough multiple times a day, assures Americans he has the military on standby to rush it out, promises 100 million, 250 million, even 500 million individual doses will be quickly available. Experts are very hopeful about the potential for an effective vaccine, but by implying one is almost imminent and will quickly end the pandemic, Trump is raising expectations that are unlikely to be met and would come too late to save his presidential campaign. Well, that's CNN. CNN.
Control over, and there are things that he doesn't have control over. He has control over the distribution issue because he's enlisted the military to set up a distribution setup, and he has the power in his role as commander-in-chief to make that happen. So that he can make happen. The exact date the vaccine will be approved, well, it's, you know, he has a little less total control over that. But if I know Donald Trump, this is what he does. I mean, he's, you know, 50 steps ahead of everybody, and he's got everything planned out, and while everybody is, you know, behind trying to figure out what he's doing, he's, you know, 20 jumps in.
Now, I can't tell you what, I'm going to be cryptic here, but this is just to make a note to myself. I cannot tell you this on the air, but I'm going to call you after the show and remind me that remind me that I have a great idea that I want to run by you about something. It's important. And but I don't want to forget it. And if you remind me, Yeah. I know it'd probably be easier to write it down somewhere so I don't forget it, but I would just remind it. It involves the studio. I have a great idea. That's all I'll say. Just remind me after the show because I will forget, and this is a brilliant idea that I have. But you'll agree with me too. Oh no, I have great ideas all the time. But this article on CNN, does it sound like CNN wants a vaccine before November? Doesn't sound like they want one to me. Well, people are suffering.
End of it.
Well,
that's where the anti-Trump people are not really in control, because if Trump is able to marshal things in a way to have it break it up the most propitious time possible, there's nothing they can do to stop that.
Yeah. Well, it depends on, well, it's interesting, like this thing he did with Kodak, for example, bringing back Kodak, who I was surprised they were still in business, Kodak, because I didn't think film was a business anymore. But he has more control over the development of the vaccine and it being available to the public than people realize too, because he has great relationships with these companies that he's enlisted like Kodak that are involved in it, Yeah. Yeah. It's like last week when those economic numbers came out that weren't that great. They were bad, right? Bad economic numbers. And you watch the liberal media, they can hardly keep the smile off their faces, And the liberal media, the mainstream media are such low lives. If people are out of work, hungry, have no money, have no vaccine, they're so concerned on Trump losing the election. It's all the ends justify the means.
Exactly right.
Like this thing there was a discussion yesterday about shutting down the country again, and all these people that want to shut down the country, none of them would be out of work. They would still work. I was watching MSNBC and they had a doctor on who was talking from his office about the need to shut down the country again. Well, he'll still work. The reporters will still work. It's the regular people that they're trying to stop from working. I see this come up all the time in the White House press corps. They haven't missed a day of work. They want everybody else to suffer, but they're not suffering.
Our side doesn't state that or point that out directly enough. Basically they're rooting for the failure of the company, and the whole thing about the red states and the blue states and the governors and all that. The bottom line is the Democrats, it's not colors that we're dealing with here, it's political parties. The Democrats want to tank the economy. I know it sounds like an outrageous statement, but is there anybody out there that would argue with that?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
You think the Democrats would make that happen?
No. I want it yesterday. They want it like in December or January, right? It's you can tell by what CNN said. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Yes.
First off, you're on. You're just upset that we didn't give you... Look who we have on the line, Steve. Liberal Al. That's what you were waiting for. And you didn't get an introduction you thought you deserved. So, am I on? Am I on? Come on, Al. Ugh.
I'm losing patience.
I am.
Okay. Can I comment on Michael Jordan and LeBron James contributing over $1 million to pay convict fines in Florida so that they can vote?
Steve Kane Show.
Right. I don't know. They're a couple of creeps. They're spoiled. They've milked this country for everything it's worth, and they don't appreciate what they have.
Hey, people are if they want to become bail bondsmen, that's America.
Jonathan.
Is Michael Jordan who you look to
Michael Jordan.
develop your political positions?
No,
What are his qualifications? Is what? Oh my Lord. You're talking Joe Biden? Boy.
No, yeah, talking about Joe Biden. Hey, you know, Jonathan Sweeney's interview on HBO was an embarrassment. If you still think.
Oh, I agree. I agree that HBO was despicable in what they did to Donald Trump. You're absolutely correct. It was an embarrassment. I used to like HBO. Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 comedy skits for SNL based on what Trump said.
Well, I know if there's a comedy skit, you won't have anything to do with it because you have no talent and you're not funny. But this HBO interview with this reporter on HBO, okay, this Axios HBO interview, what Trump was doing was pretty interesting. You know, the whole discussion politically over the last week has been whether or not Biden would debate Trump. What Trump did was actually have a debate with a reporter, showing that he'll take on anyone at any time on any issue, love him or hate him. In fact, he seems to do more interviews with people that hate him.
Your man is cowering in the basement.
That's right.
Is that it?
Well, Trump is in self-destruct mode. You know that. So.
Really? What has he done most recently that you would consider self-destructive?
Well, when he tried to get his son-in-law's attention in the war room, he says, "Hey, yo, Semite."
Oh, really? So is there audio of that? Because I'd love to play it on the show. He called Jared Kushner a Semite.
What's your source for that? What's your source for that obnoxious rumor? Well, how can we confirm that?
Trump is so racist. His views on
how can we confirm the statement you made?
The anti-Semitic comment.
Well, he mispronounced Yosemite Park when he had the.
No. We're talking about the anti-Semitic. Yeah, we're talking about the anti-Semitic comment. I've got my iPad in my hand. You say that he calls Jared Kushner a Semite. He doesn't call him Jared or anything else. And in the war room, he said, "Hey Semite, come here. Can you tell me where I can find that? I'll read it and play the audio on the radio right now."
You don't mind if we fact check you, do you?
We'll do it live right now. Let's go.
Right now. While you're here, we'll humiliate you right on the air.
Yeah, that.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, you made that up. You made that up.
So otherwise known as a lie. So you lied.
Yeah, you lied.
In here with a BS story because you have no real material, so you made one up. Is that what you're telling me?
Al the John the liar.
John Lewis.
Is that what you're telling me? That this whole call is BS? Is that what you're telling me?
No.
You called in here with lies? Well, then give me a source.
He said he made it up. He said he made it up, Steve. He said he was being sarcastic. He said he was... All right, take care. Oh, my goodness. Let's take one more call. Yeah, that's right. Good morning. You're on the radio. Can you please raise the standard of our callers, caller? You're on the air. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, referring to the... good morning, guys.
Hey.
Referring to the standards of these Democrats, all right? If you're a historian, I know that you are, Brian.
Yes, I'm a historian.
Ruin it. You know what? I mean, you know history. So what I'm saying is that rule or ruination is what these people are all about. This is what they either rule or they will ruin the nation. They don't care. I called the other day and mentioned the fact that these people is a legal criminal enterprise. I mean, these people are just, it's beyond belief that Donald Trump has gotten done what he's gotten done. The judges that he appoints have ruled against him.
Yeah.
Congress. This guy, John Roberts, is out to nail him to the wall. It's unbelievable that I thought that I lived in America, but this is not the America that I migrated to.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. And the only reason it's gotten to this point is because the establishment is doing everything possible to make this man's life miserable and to make him resign like they did Nick.
Well, it's not. Trump's not a quitter. It's never going to happen. Steve Kane Show.
No. Well,
Hey,
I mean, they're having success annoying him.
Yeah. Well, listen. Hey. Well, listen. No way. Thanks for calling. It's time, Steve, to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural.
Well, good morning.
Richard, how are you this morning?
I'm great, and I just want to share something. Has any of you thought that what's going on is politically driven, or that it's about the pharmaceutical company?
Mm-hmm. Steve Kane Show.
954-741-4045. Tomorrow, Saturday, we'll be on the air at 12 to 1 p.m. on Rogan Health. It'll be live then. It'll be replayed Sunday at 12 to 1. This show that you do every day is so important to the local community.
All right, Steve. The phones are on fire. You want to talk to some callers? All right. Let's go to Mike in Boca.
Brian and Steve, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Fine.
I've been I was very bad today because I tuned in late, so I don't know if you talked about this subject. But did you touch on the fact what Biden said about blacks?
Yeah, that they all think alike. Yeah. I'll play for. Yeah. 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 All right, here we go.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
Yeah, all black people think alike, with some notable exceptions that he's not going to mention.
Which is the essence of bigotry, which is stereotyping that if you're black, and in fact, several of the goofs that he's made fall in that same category. When he was talking to the God in the morning or whatever it was, he was saying if you're black, you wouldn't be thinking of voting for anybody but...
You're not black if you don't vote for me, yeah.
That blacks have no mind and can't put the thoughts together. That's what Joe Biden thinks of the black community.
It just
okay.
Now you want to know. Yeah, it just pains me so much to hear people call Trump a racist when he is such the opposite. But then they won't call out Biden on. Look, I personally don't think Biden's a racist, but the things that he says.
Oh yes, he's a racist. What do you with the remark? Hold on 1 second. The remark that he made with the other, what I think was the worst goof, when he was talking about Barack Obama being a storybook figure, because here was a black who was articulate and who bathed, like black people don't.
And he thought it was so. He thought that was so unusual, Biden, that there's a black man who's articulate and is clean. That it's so unusual. Somebody should actually write a book about this because it's so unusual. I mean, that's pretty racist. Yeah, write a book. It's so unusual.
Awful. And one quick thing, Brian, are you able to contact me because I wanted to talk to you about a technical thing?
Just DM me on Twitter, and I'll. All right. Take care. All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Brian, Steve. I just have something to say about you had mentioned earlier in the show, Brian, about how nobody's really covering all the gaps by the mental incompetency of Biden and his racism on Fox. Well, actually, and Steve, I have to disagree with you on this one too. I watched Hannity last night. 75% of his show last night was showing all of the racism and mental gaps of Biden.
Yes, yeah, and again with Hannity, it is true. And again, I may not be the right one to ask about Hannity because just his style annoys me. But he basically gives that he'll give that same monologue every night between now and the election. It's very repetitious, but that's just my own personal.
But Steve, I mean, in all honesty, though, he's the only one that's doing it. Somebody's got to do the dirty work. Like Tucker Carlson and Laura.
I'm not talking about that. I have no problem with those remarks are helpful in exposing what Biden's really about. That's not the problem. The problem last night was he was more worried about the special signing he was doing for his new book after the show than he was concerned with his show.
I disagree totally. I'm sorry, Steve.
All right, that's fine.
Let's talk about Hannity for a minute, as opposed to the specific. Do you think his ego has exploded as of the last 6 months or a year?
Yeah, possibly a little bit, but still, though, he's the only one telling this stuff about Biden. The rest of them aren't doing it because they want to have fun. They want to horse around with some.
That's not true.
They want to freelance a little bit. Are you serious, Steve? I mean, I'm serious. I can't believe that you're actually saying this.
No, that's not true. It's not true. First of all,
what?
He's not the only one. Other people are
Tucker
looking at the same thing. Tucker is
Tucker does a lot of great work on this, I think.
He's getting to the core of it. I mean, he's pounding this home to the listeners, I think, about Biden.
But you know, I think with Hannity, he thinks he is changing the hearts and minds of his millions of viewers, and it's important for him to do repetition. He's doing what you've told me is death for a broadcaster, which he's a teacher now. So he's got to do it every night, repetition to teach people.
Pedantic.
Yeah. But you know what? He does good work, even though he's got an ego that's out of control. So I guess we got to put up with it. You know, what are we going to do? But I'll tell...
Sure. Can we lose this call?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. I don't know.
I don't say. I think Kennedy is serving a good purpose. I think repetition. I don't agree with you, Brian. I mean, I've always said repetition is good. We learn through repetition. I don't mind that. It's just he gets very repetitive, too repetitive for my taste. But that's just my own.
Yeah.
You know, my own feeling. But you know what? See, what's it called? Carson.
Johnny Carson? Tucker Carlson. Okay, I thought you said Carson. Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson, to me, is so much more interesting because he makes you think. Instead of laying it all out over and over and over again, the same monologue day after day after day, Tucker is the old-fashioned Joe Pine school of talk radio. He provokes thought. He asks questions. He doesn't get up there and pontificate. He asks questions, and that's why he's so interesting. He provokes thought.
Well, Joe Biden has clarified his comments on black people. You want to hear it? It does come. He did release it on Twitter. Okay, Joe Biden clarifies comments comparing diversity in Latino and black communities. In a statement, the presumptive Democratic presidential candidate sought to clarify remarks suggesting the Latino community is incredibly diverse, unlike the black community. He says this, quote, "In no way did I mean to suggest that the African American community is a monolith, not by identity, not on all issues, not at all." Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Biden. Who thinks he crafted that statement, by the way? Give me a break.
There's a good chance
Steve Kane Show.
that will be the major story of this election, is the black vote. Because if it goes the way...
Trump's got it. We got it. Yeah. You want to take another call? All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, this is Joellen from Fort Lauderdale. I think
Hey, Joellen.
Trying to make it a point to say, you know, Hannity is on our side. We need everybody we can on our side. And I know that, you know, you guys sometimes make fun of him, but, you know, we need all the help we can get, you know?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
And I felt that before, you know. I mean, I love you guys and everything, but, you know, Hannity is one of the biggest, you know, people for Trump, besides yourself.
Yes.
We need him. We need him.
Well, you know, I watch more Fox News than I kind of let on, because I watch him. Yeah. But I think Fox News is grooming Harris Faulkner to be in a primetime slot. And as soon as they get rid of one person in primetime, Harris Faulkner is going to be there. And I can tell they're really elevating her. They're giving her specials. She's had a book, and they have no racial diversity in their primetime lineup. And I'm telling you, if Hannity's ego can get you in trouble, like Jerry Falwell Jr. with his pants undone and his arm around a redhead with her pants undone, right? So, you know, Hannity's ego can get him into some trouble, and I certainly don't want Harris Faulkner in that slot. I'll tell you that.
Right.
All right, thanks for the call. We're going to take a break, Steve, and come back with the gold report, all right? So I'm sure you cannot. We'll be right back.
Outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire.
Yeah,
Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian, joined by, of course, Steve Kane. Steve, it's your favorite part of the show. Oh, yeah.
Been one of the world's leading experts on the precious metals. William, of course, has delivered a gold report here on the Steve Kane Show for the past 15 years and has been advising clients on trends and movements in the gold, silver, and other precious metals markets for over 50 years. Well, there's got to be a pullback today. I keep saying that, and no pullbacks. Everything keeps going up. What's it looking like today, William?
Steve, you might get you a little bit of a pullback today. We've already had a little bit.
All right.
So take advantage of the dip. How long it's going to last, I don't know. We'll probably be up before the day's over. But right now we have a little bit of a pullback after yesterday's $23.70 gain on gold, which pushed it all the way to $2,063.20 on the close. It did get up overnight as high as $2,078 on gold. Are you there okay?
Oh, yeah, we got you.
Silver.
I'm writing all this down.
Silver was up $1.95 yesterday, closing at $28.89. Overnight, we got up right up to the $30, probably, which will be a little bit of a resistance area, but we got right up to $29.90 overnight on silver. Platinum was up $33 yesterday at $995, and palladium was up $49 at $2,112. So we got the pullback this morning. We got gold back down to about 2,041 before it turned around, went back up to about 2,060. It's right around 2,058.50 right now. That's only down $4.07 after being down about $15. As I said, these pullbacks may be short and sweet, but you got to take advantage when we do get these up. So we're about $20 off the highs right now from gold, but silver down 32 cents right now at $28.57. Was down over a dollar at one point this morning. It is coming back. As I said, it got up to $29.90 overnight. Platinum down $21 right now at $974 after touching that $1,000 number yesterday. And palladium down $80 right now at $2,032. So today will probably be the day to take advantage of any kind of dip that we see. We'll see how long it lasts, but the market is still in a very bullish trend, and of course we have been looking for some kind of a pullback.
William, what time does the metals market actually open each morning?
Oh, actually, the metals market trades 24 hours a day, so the markets are actually trading all around the clock, except from 5 o'clock. We close. The markets close at 5 o'clock, and they reopen at 6 o'clock p.m., and then they trade all through the night. So the worldwide market is wide open.
Today's got to be the day. Drop by William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road. That's the Bank America building. You'll find William on the first floor directly across the hallway on that first floor. William, give them the phone number if they have any questions or if they want to reserve. One of the things you can do is you can make a purchase over the phone with William. He'll hold a price for you. Tell them how they can reach you by phone.
Certainly, call us at 1-800-327-5010, 800-327-5010, or you can go to the website, WilliamYoungerman.com. Hours are 10 till 5,
William.
Monday through Friday. Okay, have a great day.
You too, my friend. All right, we're back.
Oh, man, that's great news. This has been the biggest week of the metal since we've been doing it. This is exciting stuff. All right, let's take a screenless call. You're on the radio. Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air.
So I think I know what the great idea is.
No. No speculating. No speculating on the great idea. No, because I don't want it on the air yet. No, I don't want it. But I know who he is. That's the thing there. See, this is the one thing about us not being in the same room, because you and I can communicate with just a blink and a wink, and it says, yeah, and when we can't see each other, we can't. Yeah.
Finger across the throat, meaning.
Yeah. Get rid of this jerk.
Too long with Liberal Al.
Canada, this on the Drudge Report, Canada just... Yeah, I can't see you, though. I can't see. Canada announced, it's on the Drudge Report, to Americans, don't sneak across our border. Yeah, I mean, I don't hear anyone in the media attacking Canada for not wanting Americans to jump the border, but when it comes to the Mexicans, oh boy. The poll, we talk a lot about the polls. They're fake, right? And what happens, and there's the headline on Drudge right now is race tightening is the headline. See, this is what happens, okay? The way the polls operate is these polling organizations make a living out of polling, and they're only as valuable as their accuracy. So when polls are out of whack and are fake, when you get closer to the election, they get more accurate oftentimes, because they don't want to blow their credibility, because people won't want to come to them to pay for polls, because it's a business. So when I see polls tightening, that means that we're going to start to get the real polls sometime soon.
It's easy to understand.
Steve Kane Show.
To explain the way they manipulate polls is by the sampling.
What's your name?
There are different types of sampling. There is registered voters.
Yeah.
But didn't necessarily vote in any previous elections. There's what are the others? The others are likely. What is it? Likely voters.
Registered voters, likely voters, and Americans.
An American.
Yeah, the most accurate are likely voters. But when I see race tightening and Drudge, yeah.
None of the polls you've been looking at up till now are likely voters. They're all registered voters, which means they're people doing the poll are conceding up front that it's not as accurate as it would be. And then would ask yourself the question, why and how would they bother to do a poll without using the most accurate group?
Yeah, to push, to get a result, a desired result. Do you remember when they used to do the Pepsi challenge? Remember that used to be a thing in the 80s? They did this thing. Pepsi had this marketing campaign, and they would have people drink Coke and Pepsi, and you wouldn't know which it was, and you would say which one tasted better. And they did this whole marketing campaign. It was on television all the time, and Pepsi would win out and I was at a place where they were doing that once, and I took it, and it was interesting how they did it. The Pepsi was ice cold right out of the refrigerator, and the Coke was hot on a summer day. So that's push polling. So the Pepsi tasted better, no doubt about it. Anyway, that's how they do these political. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Yes. I think because you guys are a little above average.
Yes, just a little, not a lot, just a little above average. Steve went to the same high school as President Kennedy. All right, I went to Trump University on a Saturday at the Hilton, but
So you gotta keep repeating the same stuff. And number two,
I missed number one. But can you speak up, because I'm not hearing anything you're saying.
Oh, is this better?
Not really, but I will listen more carefully.
It's still you.
Steve Kane Show.
All right.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Just plow ahead.
I gotta get a phone.
If it becomes unlistenable, I'll hang up.
First of all, he's got to watch it right. He's got people tuning in and out, so he has to repeat. Number two, they're not very intelligent. They're not like your audience. So you got to keep repeating it over and over to get it through their head. That's all.
Sean Hannity. All right. You love Hannity. That's okay. I like Hannity. We're trying to help Hannity.
Oh, hold on. You like Hannity better than
Tucker.
Well, Tucker's new on the scene, and he has a little different approach, so I like both of them.
And he's more interesting. He's not always talking about his mother, the prison guard, and his sensei showed up.
The sensei?
Sounds like he's a karate.
Was the sensei at the personal appearance?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
Well, I did. It was very funny.
Oh.
Okay.
You know, he's got to build to the average guy. That's a hard thing to do, trust me, because I talk to average people all the time.
Oh, so you're like Hannity. You got an ego. You think you're smarter than most people. The average Hannity viewer's dumber. Dumb. All right, that's good. We got time for one more call, Steve. Jeff in Maine.
Well, good morning.
Yes.
Jeffrey.
Hey, it is National Purple Heart Day, and I want to shout out to all the combat wounded troops to honor and remember them.
Well, that includes John Kerry, who's got 3 of them.
What?
He has 3 Purple Hearts. Yeah, he's got them. Whether he earned them or not, that's another question, but he's got them.
That's a good point, Brian.
You know what? You know, we had the doctor on that John Kerry twisted the arm of to sign off on one of those Purple Hearts. And, you know, Jeff, I was not in Vietnam. John Kerry was in Vietnam 3 months longer than I was in Vietnam. If you get my drift. And in Vietnam, if you got 3 Purple Hearts, you got automatically rotated back home. That's why he twisted arms to get 3 of them real quick. Yeah.
Doctor told
He had a paper cut. He got a Purple Heart for a paper cut or something. Yeah. Nah.
American
John Kerry, yes. All right, Jeff.
Kerry guys that served with him and said he was an idiot.
They all said that. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Oh, my goodness, John. Purple Heart Day. All right. Yes.
change into the weekend mode. Have a great weekend on behalf of our technical director, Tyler Kane, my partner, Brian Craig, and of course I'm Steve Kane. See you Monday, 6 a.m. God bless America.
Feeling old, tired, broken down? Dr. Matez can fix it. In 2005, Dr. Matez introduced South Florida to the amazing hormone pellets. This safe and effective therapy.
Well, guys, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you've not liked the video, please like the video.
Are just a phone call away. If you want to look good again, feel good again, and function good again, call Boca Raton Center for AIDS Management at 561-953-5490 or online at drcam.com.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
I'm shutting down the studio. This is what I do when we get off the air. And every Friday, I have to take the flag down on the weekends because I don't know who's here on the weekends, so I don't want to leave the flag out. So I take the flag down on the weekends. Don't want to let it touch. I can't fold the flag properly when I'm here alone, unfortunately. It takes 2 people to do my Boy Scout folding every week, you know. But I got to take the flag down every, because I don't want to leave it up there. Someone could take it over the weekend. I don't want anybody taking my Trump flag. All right, guys, listen. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and do me the favor of liking the video. Liking the video, okay? I would appreciate that. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.